2, 1. Bow. There it is. That's Tuesday night. And it's Enoch chapter 5. I can't wait to go over this one with you. This is just such a cool chapter of Enoch. The people start to come into the room. There's number 1. You're the first person in the room. Hello, Arkansas Gigi. That's perfect, man. Thank you so much. It's just a pleasure for you to be the first person in the room. Joe Rose, Lowrider, Robert, Dan Hammer. I like that name. Margie, Robbie, thank you so much for coming in. Eric, Maury, there was 2 Erics right there in a row. Ed joined. All right, man, this is so awesome. I certainly appreciate all of y'all joining in. And y'all know we got this one. Y'all saw the previews for this is when Enoch gets to tell the Watchers. He gets to tell the Giants, hey, y'all messed up bad. You're never coming back. And y'all learned a bunch of worthless spells and taught them to these women. Oh, man, that's just such a cool part. And to know that this is first off, is my volume coming through okay? Hey, Gainesville, Travis, so good to hear you. Just let me know if I'm coming through okay before I keep talking, or I'll have to fix everything. Thank you so much, Arkansas GD. Sometimes I'll be going down the hill and just, wheels fall off the wagon. Hey, we never heard a thing. Yeah, good. Thank you so much, Travis. And you're in Texas, was it? Selena, Kate Nicole, there you are. That's one of my moderators right there. Rhonda, I like that. There you go. Connie, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Wow, there's 100 people already just coming to the door. With literally 1 minute into there, there's a lot of people want to know about Enoch. And what's so cool about the first book of Enoch, it was found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And it's probably one of the most verified documents in the world. I mean, everybody that was anybody went there to disprove the Bible and to see what was going on, if there was any buried gold. And they all sent their little Indiana Jones boy over right after the Second World War in 1948 for like 10 years. And all they came up with was, yeah, we found a bunch of books of the Bible, and yeah, they read just like the other ones did. So they were just sort of disappointed that they didn't find a big old box of gold or the Ark of the Covenant or any of that stuff. And that's what they were looking for. Indiana Jones was looking for the Ark of the Covenant, man. They were over there just digging up the Dead Sea Scrolls, and they just kept going, man, it's a book of Genesis. Well, it's a book of Jubilees. Look at this. This is Enoch 1. Get rid of this. And fragments and what have you. So they found all of that stuff, and verified radio plastostomy, all that stuff that they did to verify that those documents had been in the cave for 2,000 years. And we read right when they got put in there. They were put in there by the Sanhedrin. Remember when the Maccabees came in and they burned the books? What Bible do you read from? Do you believe the KJV Bible is corrupted? I don't think that there's any corrupted versions of the Bible. Understand that King James Version is a version of a Bible. So King James got his Bible version from a translation, which was most likely the Wycliffe translation, and then he made a version of that. So a version of a translation is more like we have the amplified version. It's just a way of saying things. So they couldn't have corrupted a version that much. The people that would have changed the translation would have said, yo, all the other books that were translated, they read just like this, and you said something completely different, they would have busted them out. So King James Version, what he did by making a version is that he was able to copyright that. He put some stuff into it and some pictures and little things like that. And he was able to copyright that. And he was the first person to be able to copyright the Word of God. And that was his whole intent, was to copyright that version of the Bible. And he did. It was for like 150 years. And it's in my dad's old Bible. That one right there. It's a Prince James Version. It's a cool Bible. Before we get going, this thing falls apart, there'll be a piece of it laying on the floor. And I'm not going to turn the camera around. Y'all can read Prince backwards. Look at that. It's a Prince James Version. Now that's cool. But this piece right here tells you how long is 150 years that they copywrote the Bible. And that was the whole thing. The king owned the Bible. There you go. And that, since John Wycliffe translated the Bible, it was translated from the vulgar Latin. Enoch chapter 5 is tonight. That's right. And I'm so glad that my son, he put that in there. He's got everything going on. Uploaded a lot of stuff to YouTube, mailed out a bunch of Bibles. Dragon Slayer said he got his Bible today. A couple of people trickling in with, hey, we got our Bibles today. I got a bunch of cool things going on with making Bibles and scrolls that are going out. So cool, so blessed that I have all of y'all to thank for that. And I certainly appreciate that. Y'all meeting my goals and doing the little hands and all that stuff that AJ's setting up. Y'all really do perpetuate me to do this full time. So thanks, Kate Nicole, for joining. Crystals, thank you so much. Free Mind, are there any Bibles that we have missing text? You know what has been changed a lot of text? I think that's a great question that you had, Freeman. Are there any Bibles? Hearing a lot about the Ethiopian Bible. Me and you were just talking about the same thing. What's the most accurate version to read? The most accurate version of anything to read is the Dead Sea Scrolls translation. Hey, Mr. Morris, how are you doing? I was just talking about him, his Bible sitting on the counter right there, and sending some pictures of it. And he's the one that's responsible for all of my super cool Trumpet t-shirts right there. And it's just when I wear white, all the comments go right here. But if you want one of the Trumpet t-shirts, please go get one of those things. They're awesome. And that's what Mr. Morris, he's trying to do that and push those t-shirts. And it's a really good thing. They're just super awesome. I think they're only like $18. But and they're right there on my link tree. You go to my link tree on my bio page, and you go get one. And they're cool. They say Ezekiel 33:3 on the back, for when I see the sword fall upon the land, I blow the trumpet and warn the people. What's the most accurate version to read? I think anything that's translated after the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Ethiopian Bible is old, and it's got Maccabees, which that Catholic Bible has Maccabees, and that's part of it. And it has Jubilees, which is amazing. And it has Enoch 1. And so it does have the big books. And having Jubilees and Enoch 1 is amazing in the Ethiopian Bible. Here's the trick. I don't care what Bible you got. Your AI, when you ask AI, hey, tell me chapter so-and-so, it does not use the Dead Sea Scrolls translation. It uses the translations that were done before the Dead Sea Scrolls by default. AI is a complete lie. And what they're telling you. And when they actually printed that stuff in 1913 by a guy named R.H. Charles, I'm doing a paper on it, because he's the guy that actually changed some of the words. And he said he couldn't understand them because they were in Ge'ez. They were in Ethiopian Ge'ez language. And it's the part where Jacob was instructed not to build the temple. In our King James Version of the Bible and all the translations that we have, it says that it doesn't say that. And it doesn't say specifically for him not to build a place. And he stacks up these stone pillars, and God said, thou shalt not build a pillar. And that's a total stonemason move, to stack these pillars and stack stones. And he's just a knucklehead for doing that. But, you know, I don't want to get in trouble for that. Hang on. I got a picture of it. I do. I appreciate y'all just bearing with me. Oh, right there. Oh. Yahweh. Hold on. Right there. Right, dude, this is serious. You see that? Do not build this place. That's the part that they changed in from the Dead Sea Scrolls. When they found the Dead Sea Scrolls, this verse magically just went, oh my gosh, they found out that we replaced this line right here, because Jacob, he got told, do not build this place. And ours says that the angel came, and this is you can go look this up right here, chapter 32, Levi. You want to know how they give a tenth? Right here. Bro had Benjamin, child number 12, right here. And he said that he would give a tenth. He started counting children. They were serious about, I'll give you that boy right there. Which boy? Well, we got this one right here is number 12. So we're going to count up. And number 10 is Levi. He gave Levi away, man. Where is it? Says it right there. Yeah. And Levi fell to the portion of Yahweh. I'm going to give him a tenth. What you going to do? I'm counting them boys upwards. And Levi fell to the portion. That's what you give to the church. People talking about, you give me a tithe and you give me 10%. You give me your 10th child. When you have 12, you count backwards and give me that 10th. Yeah, the one that's already out there in the field, knows what he's doing, give him to me, put a robe on him. He's going to work in the church. Now we giving something. That's what we're doing. That's where they all come up with that 10% from. And they changed all of this right here. It's all reworded in the book of Genesis and Exodus as you start reading about Jacob before he went down into Egypt. And this is the only thing that they changed was do not build this place right here. That one right there. And this was the angel and the vision of the night. Look at it right here. I can't wait. This is where we're going tomorrow night in the book of Jubilees. This is the book of Jubilees. And we're doing the Enoch thing. It was in the Dead Sea Scrolls. We were right with the book of Jubilees. Now, understand there were 15 copies of Genesis. Don't hold me to this. About 15 to 18 copies of Genesis, Exodus, Jubilees, and Enoch 1. All right there in this Dead Sea Scrolls, all in about the same quantity, fragments of these things. Those were the big four. Genesis, Exodus, the beginning and the end. The book of Jubilees, which is really called the Little Genesis, which is stupid because it actually is such a well-documented book and just gives names and receipts and who Cain and Abel's brothers and sisters were and all that stuff is amazing. But the thing is that this was all Enoch, what we're going to study tonight. These were all verified by archaeologists after the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls, and they all went, yeah, man, all of those books, all of the Old Testament and Jubilees and Enoch 1 were in the cave, and they have been there for 2,000 years, and they read exactly the way the copies are archived. So until they found the Dead Sea Scrolls, a dude named R.H. Charles, you Google all this stuff, Mr. A.J. missed the email materials the other day. No, we did not. I had to get a space and email. I had to get space and email. Oh, Mr. A.J., I missed my email materials. Oh, you know what? I thought you said he missed them. He didn't miss them. Hey, man, they emailed 1,500 people. They went to you did the link tree thing? Did you do it right, AJ? Y'all got 1,500 emails went out. The people that were in my link tree, and that was somebody, is that yours? What? Mr. AJ, I missed my email materials from the other day. I had to get space and emails. What does it say? See, it's hard for you.
And emails were stopped.
Oh, he had to get space on his thing.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
That was our first time, so we sent out, and we got 1,507.
Yeah, it was like 1,524.
Oh, it's crazy. So we got that out, and all of those people got the 7 seals of the apocalypse, that link, and where we went through the 7 seals of the apocalypse. I'll send it again. But I have to send it in that big email, big thing. And every week I'm going to be sending y'all something. So if you're not on my subscriber, go to my bio page and go to my link tree and become a subscriber on my link tree. And then I'll get your email. But the things that we got going tonight, let me get back to that. We're going to be reading the book of Enoch, Dead Sea Scrolls, and the only difference that we see in the book of Jubilees is where they change this one piece right here. Do not build this place. The temple, that's the same thing what Jesus said. Man, what did you do, bro? Tear this down. No, that I'm the temple. I am the temple. Why are you doing this? That's why I said tear this place down. Because a long time ago, and that's why the people took this book out. Because one, it got the calendar just straight up. But two, they were like going, bro, man, he told you in chapter 32 not to build this place. And I'm like, yeah. And then they changed it in 1913. R.H. Charles changed it. Google it, go AI, and all that stuff. And go, hey, what does chapter 32, verse 22 say? And it'll tell you something different. And you go, no, give me the Dead Sea Scrolls translation after R.H. Charles altered the document. Just know, man, that guy released that in 1913, R.H. Charles. And then in 1946, like 30-something years later, man, they found the Dead Sea Scrolls. Dude was busted. Big Freemason guy sent from the church, and somehow an affiliation with Robert the Bruce. And his little knucklehead went on down to Africa to get 3 copies of the book of Enoch or either Jubilees, but he brought back because more than 2 is a witness. When do you think the third temple will be built? Have you ever know that inside that mountain in Jerusalem that Solomon had 180,000 people working inside the mountain for 40 years? I can tell you that the place inside of that mountain underneath Jerusalem where he kept his horses, which is 4 stories underneath the ground, 22,000 horses, 12,000 horsemen, the chariots and all that stuff, Solomon's stables, all built for giants. That's where Goliath lived with the Philistines that occupied Jerusalem. So just know that before Solomon had 180,000 people in there, that was where Goliath lived and his brothers, the giants, and they were all just lived inside the mountain. So, you're looking for a third temple. You might better check inside that mountain and see what the lunchroom looks like. I can't imagine even the hallway to get in and out of that place for 180,000 people. The book of Enoch is not biblical. You know what? According to the church, they took it out because it expanded on the book of Genesis 6:4. In the book of Genesis, read chapter 6, verse 4, and it tells you about the watchers. Now, for you to say that it's not biblical, the book of Enoch, what I'm getting ready to read to you, the Dead Sea Scrolls, part of that is, hang on, let me get this screen off of there. The Dead Sea Scrolls part that I'm going to read to you, all of the Dead Sea Scrolls were verified by every continent in the world that sent archaeologists and is probably the most verified documents for existence in the world. Now, I can tell you what, the fallen angels that were released in the little season and when the rest of the dead yet live again, those guys get to run around and pull the train and say, we're going to vote on books to go into the Bible, we're going to do this. And I totally know why they would have ditched that book. The bad thing is that I've read them backwards and forwards. It's nothing more than an expansion on Genesis 6, verse 4. If I would have been a fallen angel, I would have totally had that book removed out of your circulation. Hey, Randy Staley, how you doing? And I would have had that book removed out of your thing, too. It calls them out by name, tells you exactly where they landed, what their intent was, sort of gives a good description of what the planet and this realm is that we live on. And it's just an amazing story. The book of Jubilees, they call it the little Genesis. You say they're not biblical, and I can show you in that old Bible that it says that they are the Old Testament Apocrypha, and it says that they are to be enumerated amongst the holy documents. So you need to know that. The reason, I know exactly when they took them out, and I know exactly when Constantine changed a lot of things, like the Sabbath being changed to Sunday. So be careful what the churches have told you, because that's exactly what the book of Revelation was written to the 7 churches. It wasn't written to Bill, Ted, and Greg. It was written to the 7 churches that were teaching people things incorrectly. Jesus summed it up real good. He goes, Moses gave you the law, yet you still seek to kill me. Okay? God wrote the Ten Commandments, and God wrote the book of Jubilees. It says it on the first chapter, first verse, and they verified this as one of the Dead Sea Scrolls. So God wrote the Ten Commandments, and it says, thou shalt not kill. Moses wrote the first 5 books of the Bible. In the third book of the Bible, Genesis, Exodus, in Leviticus, it gives you, because he was a Levite, remember we just read that about the ten, he gives you about 30-something ways that you're allowed to administer the death penalty for breaking the rules. So just know that man's law, which were God-breathed and divinely inspired and useful for teaching and rebuking and correcting, which is rebuking. And it's very important you know that Jesus, these are in red letters, said, Moses gave you the law, yet you still seek to kill me. Trust me, Moses gave them the law, and it was thou shalt not kill, and anything that you say against that is not the law, okay? That wasn't the law. You made that up. You made that up. That's in somebody else's law. God's law, which is what Moses and the book of Jubilees, it says, come up onto the mountain and I will give you the tables of stone and the commandments which I wrote that you may teach them. That's why my Wednesday's Jubilee class is so successful, because literally I reiterate that first page, and I went, not only that, but Indiana Jones and his brother went to the Dead Sea Scrolls and verified that it said that. And that everybody on this planet went to the Dead Sea Scrolls looking for the Ark of the Covenant, some kind of buried treasure outside of Jerusalem, and they would have found out the same thing that goes, yeah, man, Genesis reads the same, Exodus reads the same, and Jubilees and Enoch are sitting right there. I can't wait to read this thing for Enoch, because it tells you exactly Enoch's position, and I put some great pictures with it. So you'll love this study guide. If you haven't downloaded it yet, go up to my bio page, and let me see. I got some pictures. You know I do. Go up to my bio page and touch my link tree right there. And then I think it's that. Right there, it's the Enoch chapter 5 guide. As soon as you go to my link tree, that's what pops up. All right, and let me see what that is. Yeah, right there. Enoch chapter 5. That's tomorrow night. That's chapter 20. And remember, chapter 32 is where it says, do not build this place. And it just, I don't know, man. Jesus said the same thing. You shouldn't have built this place. And Thursday night's going to be the Acts of Pilate, so you can print those out. They're all like 5 or 6 pages, and these are just some really cool things. The seventh seal, that's what some of the stuff. These are some of my work that you can print off of that. I'm getting it. And all of my work is full of Dore stuff. You ever go to my YouTube page? This book is on my YouTube. And you can get these books. These are in the public domain, so you can use them. And they're just the best things. When Moses smashed into 10 Commandments, and you can go to my Amazon page right there, and you can get that. And I use the map of time all the time. Go to my Amazon page, and that's another good thing to get. It's Father's Day. I tell you what, Father's Day, Grandfather's Day, anybody would love to have that. Go to my Amazon page and get them. It's, I think it's about $20 cheaper on these people's page right here in Amazon. Like that. Mr. Morse, he's got the T-shirts. I'm getting there. I promise. Says that on the back. I love these things. I was just in the store in a Wawa in Sanford, Florida. Guy walks up and goes, "You're the Trumpet." Big old hug to that guy. Love him to death. Thank you so much. And that guy had a cardinal sitting right there. He's sitting on top of that bell. That's the kind of day I've had, man. My little cardinal sitting out there. All right, we're going to read this. I'm going to go to the study guide. when you get to the one with Book of Enoch, chapter 5, right here, we're going to start right here with book 1. It's the Watchers. And this is going to be the first page of it. And this is my notes onto it. So thank you so much, Randy, for the Arlo gifts and all that stuff. He's in there. I got all my grandkids over here. You'll hear them start sounding off. We almost got shut down the other day because I said that word that goes in front of the whatever. Can't talk about, especially because I have to click over 18 because I talk about, hey, that guy got beheaded or this dude got so-and-so. So I can't do one without the other. Sir, will you do English call Jesus and Jesus Christ, not his native name is Yeshua? Sir, why do you call Jesus? Okay. Go ahead. You fix it. You're new, and I love you. So me and you're going to read some Bible together. But the fact that I've talked to you before from the many facets that you live in, that in John 19:19, go look that verse up. And John 19:19 tells you that they wrote Jesus of Nazareth in 3 different languages and then put it above the cross. So it's Jesus of Nazareth in John 19:19. And then you may want to do the whole little, there was no J. And I literally am going to pull the rug right out from underneath your feet with the J thing. All of my followers will be able to explain to you where the letter J came from. But I love y'all. Y'all know, man. I mean, I don't listen to these people. They pop right in and they go, why do you say this? Why do you care? What's it to you? What? That's Jesus of Nazareth. I read that in John 19:19. It's Jesus of Nazareth. It's the Son of God. It means that, whatever it means. It means, hey, that's the Son of God. And I don't care however you say that. It's yeah, I forget what my name's Greg. It means watchman, and I'm a watchman. So I would be like Greg of Savannah. I would be like, ooh, the watchman from Savannah. Okay. So he was Jesus, Son of God from Nazareth. Just know that's how it was a sentence. How you say that? What was it? Oh, I saw my little J comment. There was still the sound. There was still the J sound. It was the J sound. It was actually a Latin I, and they would put marks above the I to make a Y sound, and then they would put marks below the I to make the EU sound for like Judah and Jerusalem, and however they say it, sort of weird. But that's just them merging some mark. You know, they mark consonants and what have you. And that was like early Latin, like 600 BC. Not only asked her, I'm Greek, and they called him Ieshius. That's right. And that I, the way you just put that I right there in the front of it, and you put that mark over the E, in Latin, they would have put a mark underneath that, and it would have been Jesus. But I tell you one thing. This, I'll get you. I got you. No, I was in Croatia, and if anybody from Croatia, y'all sound off and tell me where y'all are from. Let me do my effects. More. Yes. Effects. Stop the effects. Right here. I was in Croatia, and these kids were like 16, 17 years old. Dude comes up and goes, hey, man, you're the trumpet. And I literally was in Dubrovnik, Croatia. And this kid spotted me, man. He goes, you're the trumpet, and I follow you. And he gave me a Bible. And they were passing out Bibles in Dubrovnik, Croatia. And, oh, man, Igor, are you the guy that gave me this Bible? There's some kid over there kicking a soccer ball in Dubrovnik, Croatia, me and my wife and all that stuff. And this kid gives me this Bible, Biblia. And he goes, hey, you're the trumpet, man. I follow you. And I was like, holy Jesus. And look at this Bible. You're talking about a J. Check this out, man. These boys. AJ's making some moves over there. Right there. Matto Marco, Luco, and then Ivan. Bam. There's your J. John. John, you're not John, you're Ivan. Listen, it's where you're at, man. You know, you're over in Greece or whatever. You say, I just can't even say it. You know, these people over here, Matthew, Mark, Luke, Ivan. So there you go. I say Jesus Christ of Nazareth. And I know I've prayed that 1,000 times, man. And but that's just me. That's what praying's got me. Hello from Poland. Gosh. Man, y'all got Trumpet over there. I tell you what, I love that place. That's so beautiful. Me and my wife have been very blessed to go over and see a bunch of y'all. I went over there with a bunch of $2 bills that were stamped with the Trumpet, and those people just tripped out, man. I handed out 100 of them. I had a whole ream of them, and they thought that was Monopoly money. That was funny. Hey, all right, I got to go read the class. 30 minutes. I did good. We all get it in. How's this time frame? Because I think that at 8 o'clock I'm going to change my other classes. We're Thursday at 8, and I think I'm going to change Wednesday to 8. That way everybody knows that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I do 8 o'clock. And I do. Because it is almost my bedtime, but it gets me a little bit later in the day. It's like 5, 6 o'clock 4 or 5 o'clock over on the West Coast. All right. We're getting ready to read about the giants that were locked up. Sure were. They're locked into the earth. Enoch, he got go. You go tell them. No, you go tell them. These are all from Dante's Inferno when he got taught. That's King David down there. He's all locked up. You can see his little trumpet. These are all pictures that I've incorporated in out of those Dore sketches. These are all super cool. They're my wife and my son right there. So cool. Thank you so much for the gifts. Them meeting those gifts and all that stuff, that's what gets me there, man. That's what has me going on during the day. I certainly appreciate that. Yes. Told you, I'm almost finished making that. Just formed all the corners. Just put all that together. Hot off the press. That's hot off the press. Had to water form all those corners. Boom. There's 9:30. 8:30. I'm going to read the first page. I put my headphones on so that I can hear when I fade out of the microphone. But this little art that we got here at the bottom, these are all Dore sketches. And this is a little bit out of his normal style that I have in there. But as you sort of read through some of these things, there's different layers of the earth. And they sort of talk about the different, in paradise where there's mountains and rivers and what have you in the earth. And this I just don't know. But that's why some of these pictures and this art you'll see down here at the bottom, these things are like in hell. Can you see my finger? Yeah, right here. I got out the way and I can take some pictures, but go download a copy of this stuff. This study guide's cool. The pictures on the next couple of pages are with the giants and them showing them. He goes and he takes him to this holy city, and it's just an amazing story of this. Are y'all ready for me to read? Because I love reading this, and AJ loves when I actually stay on subject. Mm-hmm. We are on Enoch chapter 5, and what the good thing is you can just take the cover page off of this and pin them all together, and there's 7 chapters to Enoch, and you'll have a beautiful book of Enoch when you get done, and it's an amplified version. And that means that it adds a little stuff so that you can help explain, and it's most of the time in commas, where it sort of re-says it in more of a common language that you would hear. My wife likes the amplified version. How did you receive the information and decide the platform wished you coach business? Oh, you know what? I wish that Patheon, I can't even say it. AJ come in and he goes, you got to go over to Patreon and teach classes. And me and him are doing that tomorrow. we'll be able to send out the Linktree links to tell everybody go subscribe, and we'll send out the Linktree link. And we're going to do those 7 seals. I'm going to do classes on those, just a little couple of bucks, man. And then that way I can have a one-on-one class with the people. And I want that to be more of a one-on-one type session where I can answer questions, and nothing better than my 26-year-old son to be that person. Mr. Morse, thank you so much for all of your help and your support. It's people like y'all that give me the time to do this, and you can see this thing is pulling. There's people in the hell right here. Look right there. Try to get my finger right where I move my finger. I'm gonna move it. It's gonna be right here. Ooh, look at him. He's got like chains on him. Oh, I bet you do got chains. Devil. All right, we got 259 people in the room. That means go. This is the book, the written record, the words of righteousness, which is truth, justice, and divine instruction, and of the rebuke and reprimand directed to the eternal watchers in accordance with the command of the Holy and Great One, as revealed to me in a vision I saw during my sleep. What I am about to say, I declare with the tongue of flesh, that is the human speech, and by the breath of my mouth, which is the Great One, which the Great One, God Most High, has given to mankind so that they might speak with one another and understand that the heart and discern spirituality and intellectually. And I'm right there on verse 3. And just as he created man and gave him the ability to understand wisdom, he also created me and granted me the authority to rebuke and correct the watchers, those sons of heaven who fell. I wrote out your petition, and in the vision it appeared to me this way, that your request or your plea for mercy will not be granted to you, not ever, not throughout all eternity. The judgment against you has already been decided and is final. Your petition, your intercession will not be granted for this point onward. You will never again ascend into heaven for all eternity. Instead of decree has gone out to bind you to the, I got to read that again. That was click. The petition, your intercession will not be granted. From this point onward, you will never again ascend into heaven for all eternity. Instead, a decree has gone out to bind you to the earth, and the judgment will stand for all the days of the world, for the eternity, for the entirety of this age. Before that happens, you will witness the destruction and death of your beloved sons, the giants, and you will find no joy in them, for they shall fall by the sword before your very eyes. Your petition for them will also not be granted, and neither will your own be accepted, no matter how many tears you shed or prayers you offer, even if you speak every word contained in the writings which I have recorded. Now, that's Enoch. He's talking to the fallen angels, and you could have jumped in on that. I have to read off the piece of paper. AJ is constantly making adjustments to the screen, and I never really knew how much it was work that it takes. And I see some of these other influencers. I want you to know that it takes a team of people to do this. And AJ now is uploading YouTubes. I'm doing content creation, and we're trying as a family unit to make this work. People like Randy just constantly helping and reaching out, and it's things like that that I really appreciate. It gives me more and more time to make these these study guides. And my wife, she was like, "Hey, you got plenty enough stuff with Enoch 1 and the study guides that you've made, so let's just keep doing these." And the Book of Jubilees, gosh, there's just so much information in there. I'm so glad that that's happening there. So let me turn around and read this to you. I want to get out the picture, and right as it starts to read about the vision up there, it shows it that the clouds called him, and a mist. I love that because a mist summoned him. And it's beautiful reaching. He goes up to heaven and sees this place. And I used the Dore sketch of the New Jerusalem, but it's a heavenly city. And it uses the word, the expanse of heaven was made of water. Right there. I just love that right there. It is a shimmering firmament. The expanse of heaven was made of water. Hold on to your belt buckle right there. Y'all ready to read it? Love you all. I love that. My son said that. He's sitting right here. Love you all. He does. Say it again.
Love you all.
He does. He means it. He could talk to text. Thank you, Trumpet, Miss Trumpet, not a little trumpet. Nah, you guys rock. I had little trumpets. I tell you what, boy. If you knew my real last name, you'd laugh your head off. In the vision that was shown to me, behold, clouds invited me, as if calling me upward, and the midst summoned me, drawing me towards heaven. The paths of the stars and the flashes of lightning sped ahead of me, and the winds lifted me and carried me in the vision, causing me to fly, bearing me upwards and into heaven. I could confuse this document and tell you all the places in the book of the Holy Bible that say he does this exact same thing. I came near a wall which was built of crystal, bright and shining and firm, and it was surrounded by all sides by tongues of fire, blazing flames. And this sight caused me to be greatly afraid. I passed through the flames and drew near to a great house which was also made of crystal. The walls of this house were like the mosaics of a pavement of polished stones, crafted with intricate beauty, and the foundation was likewise of crystal. The ceiling resembled the path of the stars and the flashing of lightning, and between these heavenly signs were fiery cherubim, angelic beings of fire, and above them the expanse of heaven was made of water, a shimmering firmament. The wall of flaming fire surrounded the structure, and the entrance doors blazed alike fire itself. I entered that house, and I experienced it as both hot like fire and cold like ice. There was no form of earthly pleasure or joy inside. Instead, fear covered me, and a deep trembling took hold of me. While I shook and trembled, I fell face down, and then I saw another vision. There was a second house, even greater than the first one, and this entire doorway stood wide open before me. This second house was built entirely of flames of fire. In every way it surpassed the first in majesty, in brilliance, and sheer size, so much so that I could not describe its splendor and how vast it was. That's going to just keep reading. AJ's going to keep pushing some buttons, and I'm going to touch that other button when he gets done. But I am going to tell you that as Enoch being taken up into the flames of fire, or taken up into the heavens, that's exactly what happened. He got told what to tell the watchers, and this is all getting ready to unfold right in front of us, right there. And like I said, this is just an amazing, verified document. This has been in a cave for 2,000 years and, is an expansion on Genesis 6, verse 4, but you can pick pieces up of Enoch all through the Bible where he was taken up into heaven, and it just says that. We're going to go right here to the next picture. This is another Dore sketch. I just love this, is the casting out and just of Satan. And there were, it explains in the earlier chapters, who were the holy angels and all this stuff. But we just read about there being two houses, and one he was scared in, and then the other one you're getting ready to read is just a very glorious place. And it's so glorious and so bright that it's hard to look at, that nobody could even look at it with the radiance of it. So this is all a very glorious thing. And, I've not read anything in here in any of the stuff that I've read that would tell you that the book of Enoch is far off of the spectrum of reading as an expansion of that. It's tells exactly what they did wrong and why God destroyed the earth. So let's start reading. We're right here on verse 16 at the top of the page. If you haven't downloaded the study guide, go to my bio page right there. It'll say link tree. Go to my link tree. And then on my link tree, the first one, I think it says Enoch chapter 5, and print that out, and you can read right along with us and look at the pictures and all that stuff. I certainly appreciate all of the things and helping us meet those goals. We got 4 more things to meet that one right there. Thank you so much. All right, let me take a sip of water. Are y'all getting this? I'm loving this so much. Amen, April. Apple user. J. Fritz B. I love it. I read a couple of these comments and try to stop in between these things. AJ, he's editing them down and putting them on YouTube. And then we're going to get better at it because on, was it Friday, we're going to have Jonathan put everything uploaded into YouTube and all that stuff.
It takes like an hour and a half to download and
just to
upload.
download the one of these videos takes like an hour and a half. So that's going to be like a Friday thing so we can go into the Sabbath and have all the courses updated and all that stuff. And we're also going to be, to my subscribers and all, on the link tree, if you go and become a subscriber, we're going to have your email, and it'll allow us to send out these weekly things I'm going to try to do, updates. We also want to try to do a Zoom call with my subscribers, too. I think that's going to be really cool. All right, let me read this. AJ had to make some adjustments there. The floor of this house was fire. Above it were flashes of lightning and the paths of stars. The ceiling itself was a flame of fire, and I saw a throne set on high, magnificent and exalted. Its appearance was like crystal. The wheels beneath it shone like the sun, and its brightness around the throne were visions of cherubims. From underneath the throne came streams of flaming fire, so powerful and brilliant that I could not look directly at it. And the great glory, the Lord of heaven and earth, sat on that throne. His garment radiated a brightness more dazzling than the sun and was whiter than any snow. Now the angels could enter that place. None of the angels could enter that place, nor could they look directly upon his face because of the overwhelming magnificence and glorious splendor of his presence. No mortal being, flesh, could endure it either. A wall of flaming fire encircled him, and a mighty fire stood before him. None who were near could come close to him. 10,000 times 10,000, a countless multitude, were standing before him, yet he had no need of a counselor. And the most of the holy ones, the sanctified ones near him, did not depart from him, nor did they leave him by night. And while I lay prostrate on my face, trembling in awe, and the Lord called to me with his own voice and said, "Come here, Enoch, and hear my word." Then one of the holy ones, an angel, came to me and woke me from my trance. So he's awake. All right, this ain't no I was dreaming this. And woke me from my trance and helped me to rise up and approach the door, and I bowed my face downward in reverence. And the Lord answered and spoke to me. I heard his voice, and he said, "Do not be afraid, Enoch, because you, righteous and man, and scribe of righteousness, come near and listen to my voice." Right there. All right. I'm excited to keep reading this to you. This next page is where he tells him exactly what to go tell the giants that had defiled themselves, or that were the products of the angels, which would have been half angel and half man when they defiled themselves with women. So we're getting ready to read verse 24. It's on the next page right here. And this is Enoch chapter 5. And we're right there. And y'all, just let's keep this going because this is good. Good. Make sure I don't got no pinned comments. Gigi 8-pack will come in here and run me down. 24. Go speak to the watchers of heaven. Now, this was the last thing that it said. Don't be afraid, Enoch, righteous man and scribe of righteousness. Come near and listen to my voice. Go speak to the watchers of heaven, those who have sent you to plead on their behalf, and say to them, it is you who should intercede for mankind, not the other way around. I want a hallelujah on that one right there. Right there. You're fallen angel? Yeah. You know what you ought to be doing to get back to heaven? What? Helping me, bro. Man, you can sit there and write a plea and please. Why don't you do something good, man? There you go. That God said this right here. Such a beautiful verse. It is you who should intercede for mankind, not the other way around? Why have you abandoned the high, holy, and the eternal heaven? Why have you slept with women, defiling yourselves with the daughters of men, taking them as wives and behaving like the sons of earth, and begetting giants, offspring, as your sons? Though you once held holy and spiritual living in the eternal life, you defiled yourself with the blood of women. You begot children by the blood of flesh and the lust of as humans do, those who die and perish. I gave men wives so that they might impregnate them and beget children, so that life would continue on the earth and nothing would be lacking. But you were once spiritual, immortal, not bound by flesh, and I did not appoint wives for you, for spiritual ones who belong to heaven. Their dwelling place is in heaven. Now, the giants, born of both spirit and flesh, will be called evil spirits on the earth, and they shall remain on the earth as their domain. Right there. All right. This doesn't read any different than the Holy Bible. We're 5 chapters through the book of Enoch, and anybody that's been in any of my classes knows this reads right parallel with the Bible. It doesn't say go build a pyramid or we're going to float in the air or anything like that. Okay? This is just go tell the fallen angels what they did while I'm going to destroy the earth. And the Holy Bible that we have, Genesis 6:4, it just says that in 2 sentences, I believe. Genesis 6, verse 4, one verse. Come on, let's flip the page, because this is just so good. I'm sorry. Well, you got to fix something, AJ, because I just flipped the page. Oh, that's such a great picture. You know what? While he's punching buttons and all that, take a picture of that. These pictures with the giants, this is Dante's Inferno, the descent of Dante into the Inferno. And this is the end of the chapter, but these pictures, man, oh, that's so great. And that was King David. I got a picture of him. It's got a picture. You can see his crown and all that stuff. He's a special guy, boy. He's still pushing buttons. I love it. And, you can see, who is that? I studied art. Who is that guy, Saturn devouring his children? And he looked just like that guy in that picture. He looked just like that guy. It was Goya. Oh, that dude went deaf, too. I studied him in Savannah College of Art and Design. I did. Goya, he painted all on the rooms of his house and all that stuff after he went, and then he painted Saturn devouring his children. He had a little dude like that in his hand going, but that's why we put over 18 in this class, because that's why. 29. Let me see what we said on 28. God's talking on the last verse, and it says, now the giants born of spirit and flesh will be called evil spirits on the earth, and they shall remain on the earth as their domain. Begin again. Evil spirits have come forth from their bodies, for they are born from the union of men and watchers. And that is the origin of their corruption. Therefore, they shall be known as the evil spirits upon the earth. These spirits afflict, oppress, destroy, and attack. They engage in battle and spread devastation across the earth. They do not eat, yet they hunger and thirst. They stir up offense and wickedness. You ever seen those dudes in the Pirates, Johnny Depp and all that stuff, and they like pour the wine and it just goes through them? Those guys right there. That's who it is. And you know what it says? After 1,000 years, the rest of the dead yet live again. Why, this is the first resurrection. So you know that's in 1033. I can't wait to touch base with that. Stop it. These evil spirits shall rise up against the children of men and against women, because it was through them that they were brought forth. From the day the giants were killed and slaughtered and destroyed, the spirits that came out of their flesh began to destroy the earth, and they will continue to do so without facing judgment until the final day, the day of consummation, when the great judgment comes upon the watchers and the godless, and all the things shall be brought to completion, and final justice. And as for the watchers who sent you to plead for them, those who once lived in heaven, say to them, You were in heaven, but not all mysteries were revealed to you. You came to know worthless secrets, and in the stubbornness of your hearts, you shared those secrets with women. Through those very mysteries, mankind now commits much evil upon the earth. Therefore, tell them, you shall have no peace. Okay, well, let me tell you something. That's God talking, and he told the angels, he's telling Enoch to tell the fallen angels exactly what. You can see in the next chapter, they revolt and they go crazy, and that's why he's taken. So they're like, we're getting ready to end this dude, man. You're going to be down here with us. And he was taken up into heaven. And it says that he was conducted into the Garden of Eden, where he sits and writes the writings of the day. So that was the last page of that. And I am going to just sit here and for a minute and unwind and answer any questions that y'all might have about the book of Enoch, the authenticity of Enoch, anything that you might have heard that sounds weird about Enoch, and let's get that out of the way. So JD Fund destroyed and eliminated. That's in the final day. It says right there, in that final day, they're going to be destroyed and eliminated. I'm going to tell you something, man. There's got to be a final judgment day. If you get all the little island boys that are supposed to be guilty of that Epstein thing, I tell you what, that's a lot of justice, man. If you get all these people that have been stealing or been 300 years old and getting Social Security checks and all that stuff, can you imagine all the trials and all that stuff that have to go on? How many judges? How much judgment's going to be? There's a great day of judgment coming. I mean, with all these people on that list and all these people that stole this money and all these people involved in these wars and all these people making bad decisions, when they get judged, there's thousands and thousands of court trials. All these stars and movie stars and stuff that will be affiliated with that. Their day in court will be thousands of those people. And gosh, man, all the money that went into the wrong hands and all the little stuff. This is so much judgment getting ready to happen. It's going to blow up, man. And that's a big, big thing. What about the very large trees? I don't know about that. Very large trees. They're in the Bible. Trees. Mm-hmm. But I get a lot of people, just like at the beginning of class, somebody said, the book of Enoch is not biblical. I'm like going, just telling you all about the fallen angels tells you a little bit more about them. If I were wandering the earth, which the fallen angels are, people want to know why there's so much madness in the world. It's the fallen angels. Is he not coming back as well? Ooh, it said that in, what was it? Yeah. He says that, J.D. Stevens, what was it? The Acts of Pilate. I'll read that for you on Thursday. But two witnesses are Enoch and Elisha, and they say very clearly that they are coming to fight the Antichrist with the powers of heaven, and that they will be killed by the Antichrist, and their bodies will lay in the street 3.5 days, and then they will be taken up into heaven alive. And that was the Acts of Pilate and the Gospel of Nicodemus. It says that. We read that on Thursday. So Enoch is coming back with Elisha to fight the Antichrist and be killed by him. So that's going to happen. I love that. Because I was talking to a guy today, and he was into guns, and I said, my brother's got one of these big 50 caliber things, and I asked him, I said, I understand Enoch will be one of the two returning with Jesus. It said that. Where do you understand that from? It says that when Jesus went in under the altar and pulled them out in Matthew 27, verse 52, and the dead got, and the rocks did rent, and the graves were open, and they walked through the city streets of Jerusalem. That was, when the dead got out of the grave right there. And then it says 1,000 years later, the rest of the dead yet live again. And Satan must be released for a little season in that. So it said when those dead got out of the grave during Jesus' resurrection, it says that Enoch met them at where they were getting out of, and they were like, "What's this dude, man? He's got a body. How come he hasn't been there dead with us?" And Adam asked him that, and he said, "Man, we've been held out alive so that we can fight the Antichrist. Me and Elisha have both been saved alive so that we can fight the Antichrist in that terrible day." So I heard from a family member it isn't authentic because it was written in Arabic. That's cool. I like to read in the books that are in that old Bible, wherever I just put it, that old Bible, it says that these are the New Testament Apocrypha and the Old Testament Apocrypha, and it tells you what books are to be enumerated amongst those documents. And that's why the Ethiopian Bible, they literally go and count all this stuff. And it does say those documents, and that's why the Ethiopian Bible, they literally go and count all this stuff. And it does say that that was my dog barking. I'm teaching my dog how to answer my phone for me because I'm deaf. I heard that a family member wasn't authentic. You know what? I read those comments. I like the ones that they pin. It keeps me focused. The Dead Sea Scrolls are authentic as they can be. What I just read to you out of the book of Enoch was found to have been buried over 2,000 years. What do you think about the dispensation of grace? What verses are that exactly again? Because I'll sort of read them to you. I'm not one of those great people who go, "Oh yeah, that's Mark 3, 6, da, 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 da." I just can't spit it like that. But because I read, I don't know, man. Jesus Christ, he takes me down some things. Y'all see my TikToks, man, and people are like going, "How'd you put that together?" And I was like going, I don't even know. I heard 42 the other day, and all of a sudden this guy wants to put 42 motors on a rocket, and I'm like going, "What the heck? Why would you do that? What?" I mean, I'm talking about, how many did I have on? 33? Shut it. You got 33 motors, and they're called Raptor motors because those aren't dinosaurs. We didn't have the word dinosaur until 18-something, so you literally are talking about dragons. So you had 33 dragons in the dragon that has the capability to take 7 heads into space. I'll need to watch that right there. I'm not sitting here going, "I predict that that's going to." I don't do that, man. I'm a watchman. I turn around and go, "Dude, y'all see that right there? It's a rocket." No, that's fire descending from heaven in the sight of men. They're all saying "ooh ah" because that dude just caught a rocket. I've never even seen anybody in high school with a play rocket catch a rocket. I mean, everybody was standing there in his meeting going. I'm like going, "Oh, okay. You're going to build 3 of those a day, 3 of those rockets a day in a big black cube called a gigabay, and then you're going to build one in Texas and one in Florida. You're going to have 1,000 a year, 1,000 rockets a year able to go to Mars? What? Why? And it's got to go down by 2026. You know what, man? This is our Jubilee period. This is what the church and do with a little hat. So this is when they said our Jubilee period is. And them boys been juggling time around. We don't even know what day or time it is for sure. But the devil gets released after 2,000 years. Know that. And the first resurrection is the first 1,000 years, and then he must be released for a little season, and the rest of the dead yet live again. That one. And then after the little season, which, by the way, Jesus was crucified 3.5 years after John the Baptist was put to death. That's a little season. 40 and 2 months, 3.5 years, 1,260 days, just like what Daniel said. And the devil must be released for yet a little season. And I can only imagine it's about the same thing. But for me to go find out in 1033, there was a pope that he was 12 years old. That's the same age that Jesus was when he went into the temple to first teach in the temple. So they put in place a 12-year-old pope that in 1033 would assume he's the Pope, and knowing that the Bible had been written and been printed and they had great copy of it, and they're sitting there going, man, we're going to have a pope sitting right there on the seat in 1033. This is going to be tight. And I don't believe we can lead the firmament. I guarantee you. They said that they're going to need 42 motors, and there's 42 names. They say there's 42 letters in the name of God. 42 words. It's 7 sentences that are 6 words long. You're supposed to take the first letter. Bunch of blah 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 blah. That's what that is. But I don't think you can ever say the name of God. Y'all ever seen that Yahweh thing? It's got YHWH. It's that thing, you can't say it. What's your opinion on the rapture? The rapture is when we're all going to be changed in the twinkling of an eye and taken up, and we all stand in front of these books. I think that we all do experience this tribulation because it says all of the tribes of the earth will mourn, and that, like me and you and Bobby, we're all of the tribes of the earth will mourn. Oh man, you know what? Shut it up. You know and we went to go see that Marvel movie, and the dude that comes back, he's super evil. Has anybody seen that Marvel movie? And the dude comes back. His name is Robert. Robert. He's so the devil. And then literally in 1033, we were just talking about that, is that dude's name right there, Robert the devil. That's stupid. Right there, 1033, the only place on that 23-foot map of time where it says the devil. And that was that guy in that movie. His name was Bob. And I was like going, it's a new Marvel movie. The new Marvel movie, Bob, is the new super evil. And that's because in 1033, Robert the devil, they said this guy was bad. And he was bad. He was bad. But this is the Pope. This Pope was so bad, it seemed as if a demon from hell in the disguise of a priest occupied the chair of St. Peter. And this dude's 12 years old, man. And right here. He's at the age of 12. He becomes the Pope. He rules for 42 months. Then bro comes back, man, and tries to sell the papacy, which Constantine totally did that, and he forged it. He forged a document on the papacy. It was the greatest crime ever when Constantine forged the document to give Rome all to the church. And then he made a deal, and he went to Constantine, or Istanbul, and he did that. But there's Robert the Devil right there. And that's in 1033. You can see it right there. And that's that right there, 1033. This is one of the study guides. I sent this to you. If you got the email and all that stuff, if you're one of my subscribers and the link tree and all that stuff, I just sent this out. It's like 17 pages. Super cool. Big book. I have to hold it in front of that thing. And it tells all the seals and all that stuff. So it tells you all of the seals and all this information. This just happens to be the 6th seal, that one in 1033. And it says, and behold, you need your glasses because you are old. And he is old. And he is old. And when he opened the 6th seal, lo, there was an earthquake. Lo. Well, you know why they said lo? Because it was, ironically was funny. Because it was in 1033 on Jerusalem. It was a 7-point-something thing. That's right. That's right. So you need all these stuff to fact up. And that's why whenever I send somebody or a booklet or any of my study guides, all of these things, like they're like 6 or 7 pages long, full of pictures and stuff like that. So go download them. And because they are right there, go to my bio page and then go click on my link tree. And then you want to, that's the study guide that we're just studying. You want to subscribe right there and give me your email. Next week when we send out that big bulk email, there were 1,520-something names on it. Add your name to the list, and we're going to email it out. We got it. We'll send this link, and I'll send you my latest work. I want to do that. These are the pictures that I put into it. I just love that because he sent Enoch to tell the giants that you have to be bound to the earth. And remember I told you that one was David? That's King David right there. I think King David was big. All of his boys that were hanging out with him, man, they were like, this dude killed 300 people until his hand stuck to the sword and what have you. So a lot of time. What kind of books are hidden under the Vatican? Yee, double ha. I have no idea. But the Book of Jubilees has been such an insight to me. You study God's Word, you can ask AI this question. That when you study God's Word, and you can ask anything. You can ask AI anything you want to. Go back it up. Ask it what books are written by God, and it'll tell you that God wrote the Ten Commandments in Exodus, I believe it's chapter 20, that his finger wrote the Ten Commandments, and the Book of Jubilees is the only other work that is attested to be written by God, given to Moses to be used to teach men. And I literally sold all my other pearls and bought that pearl. So what kind of books are hidden underneath the Vatican? That I don't know, but you can get to the Book of Jubilees and sort of, I think you should know that. This is the Jubilee year. Oh, I was telling you something. So this is what the church has said is the Jubilee year. So they had one 16 years ago. So it was like, we got some fish. We're going to have a fish fry. Oh, yeah, Jubilee year. Let's do it now. All right, listen. A Jubilee year is every 7 times 7, you blow the trumpet and you hallow the 50th year. So we've got 50-year cubes. All right. 40 is always a time of testament. It's like 40 days and 40 nights or 40 years and the thing. And Goliath taunted them 40 days. And this 40 is a bad thing. Solomon, David, and Saul, the first 3 kings, they all led for exactly 40 years each. So if 40 is a instrument of punishment or testing, then we will have been 40 jubilees. 2,000 years is 40 50-year periods. So when the devil is released after the 40th jubilee, that will be 2,000 years later. That's 2033. But everybody's got us saying, I'm reading the Book of Jubilees, and it's got us reading it this year. And I'm like, that's 7. When the bell rings next year, it's going to be 7 years away from the real 2000th year, 2033. We're 2025. We're 8 years away right now. And they're calling this a Jubilee. And I'm like going, you can call it a Jubilee year if you want to count it all the way back. But literally, we're counting after Jesus Christ died. And he died at 33 A.D. So the devil, on his death and resurrection, the devil was locked away for 2,000 years. And then after the 1,000 years, he's released for a little season. Know that, but he goes back in the box. And after the 2,000 years, he must be released, and then he will go out and gather the nations. That's 40 50-year periods, 40 Jubilee periods. That's a time of punishment. And from 33 A.D., from the time that he had the chains put on him, it's 2033 when the chains come off. Now, the 7th seal is an easy one to get past because there's silence in heaven for about a half an hour. And then the wheels fall off the wagon. Somebody's going to say, what does that mean? The first trumpet, and then the angels are handed trumpets, and then the trumpet starting to blow. And the first trumpet says like a third of the grass was burned up, and hail and fire mixed with fire fell from the sky. And it's like, yeehaw! So Junior gets out of jail right over here. And here's the thing. Nobody knows when God's going to return, Jesus Christ. Know that. But with the realm altering the calendar, wouldn't biblical calendar be part? Yeah, you can do that. They messed with the calendar, and it wasn't Rome messing with the calendar. The people that got rid of the Book of Jubilees because they came out of Babylon and they followed the Babylonian calendar. The Book of Jubilees says you're going to follow a calendar that is based off of the moon, and you're going to go wrong by 10 days. And the Babylonian calendar is a 354-day calendar. But the Book of Jubilees describes a perfect 364-day calendar where there are 52 weeks of 7 days, and it just literally works out mathematically perfect, and they came out of Babylon, and they're the ones that trashed it. So Rome didn't really alter that so much. But understand this, that no matter when it is now, whatever year you want to call it, how bad they mess it up, forget all of that. Know that a year is a year, all right? And that after 2,000 years, Jesus Christ the devil is released, all right, after 2,000 years. So Jesus Christ was crucified on 33 AD. That means before Christ is 0, and anything AD is in the year of our Lord, Anno Dominus or something like that. And that means in the year of our Lord. And in the year of our Lord, 33 AD, no matter what you want to think, that's 33 AD. That's when the clock started on the devil being locked away for a 2,000-year period. And 2,000 years later is 2033, 8 years from now. And that's going to be the 40th Jubilee from the time Satan had the cuffs put on him, right there in 2033. So it's not we don't even know what calendar, and this is when Satan gets released. This isn't when God's coming back. This isn't when the sky and the white horse comes out of the sky and all that stuff. People want to know what the white horse. Anytime you see the white horse do with crowns, that's the beginning. That's God. That's my guy right there. The white horse. The red horse, that's the Watchers. They taught men how to make swords right there. They fell. There 3000 BC was the year of Jared, and they descended in the Mountain Hermon in the days of Jared. And there were right there 1,000 years later. A day is like 1,000 years. The 7th day is what we're going to. So they popped the first seal right there with Saddam. That's the white horse. The Watchers, they're the ones that taught man how to make swords and start war. Abraham was born in 2000 BC. 2,000 years later, they break the 3rd seal and had the black horse of famine, the great famine in Egypt. You can see where he went off through that. And then it shows exactly they measured the wheat and the barley and give me a penny for this. And so what about, I'll tell you the millennial reign in just a second. It's coming up right here on this one. And then this is David. He's a pale horse of death. I just think that's, his hands were too bloody to build the temple, and hell followed with him. And Solomon built the temple. Jesus Christ said, y'all wasted your time. You should tear this whole thing down. Millennial reign's coming right up here. And then Jesus Christ, the Lord, died on the cross and was the Son of God. I do believe Jesus Christ was the Lord and died on the cross, and he was risen in 3 days, and he brought all the souls out of the ground. And it says in Matthew 27, verse 52, and the earth did quake, and the rocks did rent, and the bodies of many saints which slept arose and walked through the city streets of Jerusalem and were seen by many. Jesus Christ, he let them out of the grave after he locked the devil away for 2,000 years right there. And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. Bam! That's the millennial reign right there. Know that. And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. And after the 1,000 years, the rest of the dead must be released, and Satan must be released for a little season. Okay? So just know that there it is, right there. There's a little season, 1033. Little Pope Billy, he gets put on the throne. Every time I say Pope, it just blows the microphone up. Amen, brother. Amen. Hey, Ezekiel 13. I love that. But we can keep going. White robes, little season. You see that? He goes under the altar, and they were all given the white robes. And then it goes into Revelations 20 right there. And he descended, and he that ascended first is he that first descended into the lower parts of the earth before he rose high above all the heavens. No, that's Jesus Christ. And he locked the devil away for 2,000 years. And he laid his hand on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil, and he bound him 1,000 years. And then he saw the souls of those that were beheaded for the witness of Christ. That's right there when Jesus Christ was crucified. And he saw the souls of those who were beheaded for the witness of Christ. John the Baptist was the witness of Christ, was the witness of God. It says it in John 1:1 and John 1:5. John was the faithful witness of God. So are we in the little season? In the little season, understand that understand that the rest of the dead get released. So that's a crap ton of dead people that get released out. So that's all the madness that's going on in the world right now, 2025. But Satan is released for a little season. There's two things that happen. Satan got released for a little season, and the rest of the dead yet live again. So when the dead got out of the grave with Jesus right here, the rest of the dead, the knuckleheads, they got out of the grave 1,000 years later when Satan was released for a little season. And he all set them into a great working order, changed some of the books, started the Crusades, got everybody in a good footpath, and then said, all right, y'all get going. And it says that he would be, and then he goes back into the grave and to the ground, and then he's released after the second 1,000 years. The Bible tends to come full circle with things happen more than once in cycles. I guarantee you, when the mountain slid into the sea, one of the first times was when Vesuvius slid into the sea, and all those people, that was the highest powers of Rome, then they all suffered and screamed. And if you've ever been to Pompeii and you see those people are just frozen in time screaming, I'm like, how do you do that, man? You caught that dude like just... And you can even see the dog, man. I mean, they're just like frozen in time. And boy, that just seems like things repeating itself. And we say we haven't been through a great tribulation, man. I can show you on the map of time where they crucified over 1 million men. That's just the men they counted. Over 1 million men in Jerusalem when Titus came there in 70 A.D. And they circled Jerusalem and erected crosses until they ran out of wood. It's written in time. Josephus and all that stuff recorded it. This isn't a secret. This isn't, oh, that's an old wives' tale. No, man, they circled Jerusalem and said, bro, when y'all run out of food, we got you right here, man. Right here. All these crosses, you are going to be on them. And sure enough, man, they started doing terrible things. It says that, I'm not going to go there. They probably shut that right now. But that was 70 AD. So, yeah, I do feel like some of these things have happened, and they happen a lot. But I love talking about this stuff with you, and I love explaining where we are with these seals. I made this little chart up on my phone because I was just like going, man, and it hit me. A day is like 1,000 years. And I was like, we're going to the seventh day, man. We're looking for the seventh day. And that's when the seventh seal hit me. But it was actually when I read the fifth seal, and he said he went under the altar and the beheaded and all that stuff, I totally locked that in. But then when you do the sixth seal and there was an earthquake, the Pope was taken out, and then he was 12 years old, matches when Jesus went into the temple, a 12-year-old Pope. A 12-year-old Pope. Do you believe the rapture already occurred? What era do you think we're in? I believe we're 2025. I believe we're 8 years away from 2033. That will be exactly 2,000 years after Jesus Christ was crucified and resurrected right there. And he said he locked the devil away for 1,000 years. He must be released for a little season. And then the rest of the dead must be released. And that's all the knuckleheads running around in the world right now that we see, the rest of the dead. And then after he gets put back in, he gets out of his jail at the end of the second death, which is another 1,000 years. And that is 40 Jubilee periods from the time Christ was crucified. So 40, 50-year periods is 2,000 years. 2,030 years is when, 33 is when Satan is released out of his prison. And this is not when Jesus is coming back. No man knows that day or the time, but Satan was locked away until the end of the second death, and then he will go out and gather the nation. So it's just very easily explainable when you realize who these four first horsemen are. I mean, anytime you see a white horse with crowns on their heads and all that stuff, and I tried to put that with the jab and the corona or whatever, that all doesn't work right there so well. And you say things repeat, I guess you could play a lap with that one. But anytime you see a white horse, it says in Revelation 19, when the sky opened and the white horse came out of heaven, and that's Jesus, man. That's Jesus. Jesus is God. Greg, could you slide over, please? I want to screenshot you. You know what? I put this in something. I got another one for you, too. Hang on. I got to turn it sideways. No, two. There. I like it two different ways because it helps me read these things, and then I actually can just pair up there. I get my hand out of the way. 1000 BC. Please screenshot that stuff. This is the things that's coming out at the end of the week on my Trumpet page. I'm going to be sending, when you go be one of my subscribers and I get your email, then I'm going to send this chart. That's the next thing that's coming out. And I've got some stuff that goes with it too. I'm going to send all these pictures too. Go right there to my link tree and subscribe right there. And these are the study guides. Now listen, tomorrow we're going to be doing Jubilees. My Jubilees class, I love y'all to death, man. Y'all are, there's 400 people in here, 500 people in here right now. Thank you so much. Tomorrow, Jubilees class, y'all are going to trip out on that, man. I mean, that's just an amazing course. This is Enoch 5. There's only 7 chapters in Enoch. I do this every night. I'm going to change it to 8 o'clock on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So tomorrow, Eastern at 8 o'clock, I'm going to do Jubilees. And then the Acts of Pilate, chapter 9 is where the 2 witnesses are mentioned, and I love reading that because it's so cool, because it talks about Enoch and Elijah and how they're going to fight the Antichrist, and they will be killed by the Antichrist, and their bodies will lay in the streets for 3.5 days, and that's all right there in the Acts of Pilate, and that is the Gospel of Nicodemus, i.e. the Acts of Pilate. And Nicodemus is the guy that handled Jesus' body after that with Joseph of Arimathea. So he wrote down, after the rocks rent, the dead bodies got out of the grave and all that stuff, a couple of the people, Lazarus being one of them, dude that he wrote, woke from the dead, they said, those empty graves, those 2 empty graves right there, those are brothers. And their dad was alive and saw them both die, and their graves are empty. And they're in Arimathea right now because we sent out to find out where Joseph was, and we went to Arimathea because we thought that he escaped. And they went to go get Joseph of Arimathea, and they locked him away in the night, and an angel came and released him. And they went to Arimathea, and these 2 witnesses told them that we're here, and we're here to scribe this down. And they wrote down separately 2 volumes of the Gospel of Nicodemus and handed it to 6 of the witnesses. And then the other guy handed it to 6 different witnesses, and they read it, and it didn't differ by 1 letter. You look up into these books, and never the Gnostic Gospels. I look into the Dead Sea Scrolls is where you're going to catch me. The Gnostic Gospels, I look at the Dead Sea Scrolls. It says, "Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed until the time of the end." And then when they dug up the Dead Sea Scrolls in 1946, they discovered a lot of things that were in that cave, and they were the Old Testament books, all the ones that you know. But in the same amount of copy, David, you'll find that there was Enoch 1, and that was the only one that was in the cave. Enoch 2 through 5 are false documents. And Enoch 1, but all gospel is God-breathed and useful for teaching and rebuking. And rebuking means correcting. And I can take Enoch 2 through 5 and just totally correct you to pieces with that. But I hope you're not doing this for the fame, because you will answer to it. You muted me on the other day. I don't know why I muted you the other day. But I'm not doing this for fame whatsoever. I blow the trumpet because that's what I ask the Lord every morning, to let me see this world through his eyes. And I'm exposing what the church has tried to hide from you. And I can tell you right now that in the Dead Sea Scrolls, this is what the church tried to hide from you right here. You go to chapter 32 of the book of Jubilees, and you look up verse 22, and that's Saint Star or whatever it is. You go look this up and see what AI tells you 32:22 is. And it's going to give you an R.H. Charles, when were the Dead Sea Scrolls dated? They were found in 1946. They were carbon dated to before Christ. We just read in the book of Maccabees, chapter 1, the first book of Maccabees, when the Antiochus, the king came and burned all the books and killed all the people with them. And shortly after that, the Sanhedrin came into power and started modifying all the stuff. So they were sealed away before that. And we know them. You will know them by their fruit for sure. I'm reading you the Dead Sea Scrolls because they were found in 1946. I really enjoyed the Book of Enoch. The seasons and the calendar, the details are incredible. It's the Book of Jubilees that has the seasons and the calendar. In Enoch 2, it does talk about, I think, some of the seasons and the travels and the paths of the stars and what have you. And I think it's a real good read. It definitely, what we just saw explains, that the firmament is water, and it sort of goes in with the Bible, how it says he divided the waters were above the firmament and the waters that were below the firmament. But at this part right here, it says, do not build this place. And the angel told Jacob, do not build this place. That's the same place that Jesus walked up and went, bro, tear this place down, man. It's me. The temple is me. The temple was always supposed to be a tabernacle and where it needed to be, when it needed to be there, not some place that, man, you got to go all the way over to Jerusalem to that. The temple is right here, man. Anytime two or more gather in the name of the Lord, there he is in their midst. There, JD, that one is for true, man. The fruit is in every breath. And you just need to know that where two or more gather, there he is in their midst. That's why he said, don't build this place and act like I got to be in that box, man. And right there in the Dead Sea Scrolls, when they found this and printed it out. And yeah, that's what it says. And in 1913, 30 years before, the church sent a Freemason named R.H. Charles, and he transcribed the book from Ge'ez out of the Ethiopian copies, and he changed that piece right there. And then when they found the Dead Sea Scrolls, they had to change it back, and they were completely busted. The dude's name is R.H. Charles. He translated it in 1913. He changed verse 22 to verse, is it 32? Yeah, right there. Levi, hey, y'all want to see that give a tenth to the church? Over 400 strong is with us now. You know what? We are over 400 strong. Y'all heard about giving a tenth to the church and giving a tenth of your money? That ain't what it's got to do with none of that, man. This is where they came up with that right here. Bro gave his 10th up son. Read this right here. I'm old. And in those days, Rachel became pregnant with her son Benjamin. He was the number 12th son. And Jacob counted his sons from him upwards, and Levi fell to the portion of Yahweh. So his father put clothes on him and the garments of the priesthood and filled his hands. And he took Junior down to the squash and gave him away, man. And he goes, and this was his offering in consequence of the vow which he had vowed that he would give a tenth with their fruit offering. He gave this boy Levi, and that's who Moses was. He was from the tribe of Levi. But that's when they gave a tenth. They were like going, all right, listen, I just had this kid Jacob. That's the 12. That's what I've been, told that I'm going to have. I'm going to give you a tenth of my spoils, counting upward. Levi, you're number 10. Put on the priest robe. I know you're my head farmer. Hush it. You're going to go work in the church. You a pope now, bro. Get over there. And that's how they give away a tenth. Not give me a tenth of everything that you make. That's not it. It's like, give me, while we're over here writing these books and all that stuff, bring me some bread. What do? I grow corn. I'll take some. What? Take some of this word with you and give me a piece of your bread. And that's how they used to just trade out, all that stuff. Do not debate, but pray for them. I don't debate with people, and I do pray for a lot of people to come to the understanding that the church is the one that took these out of your Bible right there. I am making this Bible. I've handmade that. It's in glue up right now. So this is one of the Bibles that's off my website, but I'm shooting some videos and some footage with this, and my scrolls and little boxes and stuff, gluing that up. I love doing this stuff. I love doing it for y'all. I want to be found giving meat in due season. So I want to be caught dead printing Bibles. I will do that. And that was literally right on top of my bell. I told you I had a bell because they said, you're supposed to ring one in the Jubilee year. Me and my grandkids, we ring it's a big old cast iron bell. dang, dang, dang. I bet. And cardinals just had some babies in that bush that's right there. And that's like Daddy Cardinal. And he's like going, dude, I got you, man. I'll bust you up. Which is about how much is that Bible? They're $500. But they're 12 pounds. And it's about 6 inches tall. And it has all the hidden books of the Bible in it. And we making them. I had to water form all the corners. And just coming out of the glue. These are the Enoch scrolls. That's Enoch. That's got all 7 books of Enoch in it right there. And then I've got some other scrolls that I put in that box. Those are all cool. But me and AJ are working on the website tomorrow. This is all the stuff we're going to upload. I love we literally hand make all that stuff. We do. Cain and Abel, wasn't Cain charged by God because of not giving the first fruits? I'm not really sure. I didn't read those word for word of what Cain was charged with, but Cain killed his brother with a rock, and a rock fell on his head. And it said that if you kill with the sword, you die by the sword. And he killed with a rock, and he died by a rock. And that's why those Masons, they get all that rocky stuff from. Those Bibles are beautiful. But believe me, that is a piece of art, and it's something that's handmade. They'll every one of them be different, because ain't no way not to get that. Mr. Morris has been one of my biggest supporters. He is the guy that sells these t-shirts right here. Please go to my link tree and buy one of his stuff. It's from God Send Shirts. They're only $18, and it's God Send Shirts, and he's right there on my link tree. He is right. Trumpet t-shirt somewhere. I see it. Where is it? Oh, it's up one. It's on my link tree. Oh, those are all the other books, too. You can go download the Book of Jubilees, the Book of Enoch, the Book of Giants, the Protovangelium of James. That's a weird thing. Tribulation and all that stuff. You can download all those books for free. Those are cool. That Maccabees book, The Abomination of Desolation, tells you right when they put swine on the altar and he raised the abomination. As they were only 2 Enoch book, why are there 7? Who wrote the other 5 books? They only wrote 1 book of Enoch, and it's Enoch 1. It's 35 pages. It's right there. It was only 35 pages, and it basically was Genesis 6:4 expanded. And it calls the fallen angels out literally by name. It tells you exactly what they did wrong and how long they were going to be punished and all of this stuff. It just cold busting them out. It doesn't say anything weird like, hey, go drink pomegranate juice and bark at the moon or anything like that. So just know the Enoch 1 doesn't say any of that. That's the only one that was in the Dead Sea Scrolls. So when they found the book of Enoch started to surface, the church or whoever put with that, they made up Enoch 2, 3, 4, and 5 just to make Enoch 1 look bad. So it starts talking about Noah had blue eyes and the sun radiated out of his eyes and all that stuff. That's all hogwash, man. I mean, it's so fantastical that it was just done to diminish Enoch 1, and Enoch 1 was found in the cave, and there were just as many copies of Enoch as there was of Genesis, Exodus, and the Book of Jubilees, I think, was the most popular book in the cave. All of them having like 15 to 17 copies of these fragments. The t-shirts are amazing. Oh, man, I tell you what, they are nice quality t-shirts. I got to tell you something. I told him they were too cheap. But y'all should go get one before he changes his mind. Let me get them pictures back up here. And it's he won't let me wear one because the white, he's getting me a blue one. And but they say Ezekiel 33:3. I was wearing one of these white ones. He sent me a bunch of them. And a dude busted me in the store to get shoot a trumpet. And I was like going, yeah, that was in Sanford. I'm sorry I came on here. Is this the app or where do you get this? Where do you get what? You can get all of this stuff right here on my bio page. You can go right there on my link tree, and then you can download all of my work off of my bio page right there. And these are all the hidden books that you can download. These are all the Abomination of Desolation and things like that. These are all scriptures. That's out of that old Catholic Bible right there, man. All I did was take pictures. That big old Catholic Bible right there, I took pictures of the Maccabees, the first chapter of Maccabees, and that whole thing, I don't have them where I can pull them up, but it's just amazing to sit there and see that. Crazy. Keep speaking the truth. And you know what, Michelle Donnelly, I certainly will keep speaking this because when I want to read this, Jubilees 1:1. This is what made me sell the pearls, man. This one right here. Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, this is verse 1, chapter 1 of the book of Jubilees. It's the first thing I read to anybody. How do we sign up for emails? I'll tell you in 1 second, Brandy. Yahweh said to Moshe, saying, come up to me on the mount, and I will give you 2 tables of stone of the Torah, the word, and of the commandment which I have written, that you may teach them. God saying this, that I have written that you may teach them. God, it says in Exodus 20 that God wrote the 10 commandments. And it says that he wrote this commandments and this Torah, and he gave it to Moses for them to teach people with. Just know that that's amazing. Numbers y'all are flashing. That's why I bought this pearl. And I was like going, all right, I'm going to go by God's word, because Jesus said to the people right before they were crucifying, he goes, Moses gave you the word, yet you still seek to kill me. And it doesn't say administer the death penalty anywhere in here. In Exodus 20, the 10 Commandments, it says, thou shalt not kill. And Moses wrote the first 5 books of the Bible. So he wrote Genesis, Exodus, and in Exodus, it means Genesis means the beginning, Exodus means the end, and at the end of the end, it says, thou shalt not kill. But Moses was a Levi, and the book of Leviticus is the 3rd book. And in the book of Leviticus, it gives you like 30 different things that you can do wrong, and they can administer the death penalty. So to the all Bibles, I heard firmament in there. Come back to me. Do old Bibles really have drawings of the earth and the firmament? The old Bibles right here, I'll tell you what we just read. You'll love this. Oh, I can pull it up. I got it in my lesson. What page is it on? I got it in the lesson on page 2. I'll show you what the firmament's made out of. And the old Bibles, this book of Enoch tells you exactly about the firmament right here. Look over my head. Greg put on his glasses. Verse 18, is it? Angels, they look. The flaming fire, I saw that. Hold on. This one. I don't want to hear it. I try my hardest. Ooh, there it is right there. 11. The ceiling resembled the path of the stars and the flashing of lightning, and between these heavenly signs were fiery cherubim, angelic beings of fire, and above them the expanse of heaven was made of water, a shimmering firmament. The word in this old Bible that I've got for firmament, it says expanse. So expanse means that he put it in between the waters and divided the waters that were above the firmament to the waters that were below the firmament. So the word is expanse. And that's what it means. So they can either have expanse, but it divides it. And that right there in the book of Enoch, which is verified and been in the cave for 2,000 years, and every scientist or Indiana Jones that ever could be anybody came over and said, these are all authentic documents. They've been in the cave for 2,000 years, man. Yeah, they're all good. And the church was like, you don't need to read that stuff. That's the lesser Genesis. There's nobody that's in my Jubilees class that's going to tell you that has less information than Genesis is. This tells you exactly who Cain and Abel's brothers and sisters were. It tells you who Cain took with him and made his wife, Zurah, and I just think that it's an amazingly detailed story, and it is, as the church attests, it is the Old Testament Apocrypha and was to be enumerated amongst the holy documents. So thank you so much for sharing out this live, and thank you so much for joining this room. It's an amazing crowd that we have in here. I'm only going to read you something that is found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, has been verified from scientists from all over the world, every continent. In 1946, sent an Indiana Jones type dude out there, financed by the biggest money in the world, to go find the Ark of the Covenant and the hidden treasures of Jerusalem. And all they found was a bunch of old books of the Bible that read exactly the way they did 1,000, 2,000 years ago. Oh, man. I certainly appreciate all of y'all becoming subscribers, and that is what supports me. My Linktree thing, that's what we're going to start sending out on Friday. We're going to update the YouTube page and put all the lessons from Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night. They'll load up Friday, and then Jonathan's going to send my PDF out, and that'll be my charts and stuff like that, and we're going to try to update that link. So we're not going to try to add people to what we just did. We're going to download the new list from Linktree, and then we'll upload that email out, and then this is the next thing that I'm sending out is going to be these, and I'll print them all on the size of a piece of paper, and I'll put some of that facts behind it that point out about that Pope and the details of the little season. That's going to be good. That Pope, he was 12 years old. Mr. Morris, man, he is awesome. Mr. Morris, we will take some pictures too. What is it? We started delivering the Bibles. We got a couple of people have said that they've started receiving their Bibles. Tomorrow night we'll have a big Bible giveaway. I love my Jubilee crowd. It's so in there, and I'm giving away some of the Bibles that I don't use, and the one that I'm going to give away tomorrow is just going to be an amazing thing. I certainly appreciate all of y'all being in here and in this room and giving me the opportunity to talk to y'all and print these study guides. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to spread the word of God, and that's what's important. So the giants are, I got questions. I'll sit here and answer questions for a while, man. So the giants are now the demons that roam the earth. I guarantee you, man, the demons are all over this place, because it says after the 1,000 years, Satan must be released for a little season. And then it says, and the rest of the dead yet live again. And this is the first resurrection. And he who is affected by the first resurrection is not affected by the second death. And then it talks about the devil he got released for his little season. And then it says after the 1,000 years, Satan is released from his prison. So I think that when they got released, the rest of the dead yet live again. That happened 1,000 years after Jesus' crucifixion. It says that when he locked them away, and in 1,000 years, the rest of the dead yet live again. So 1,033, those are all the knuckleheads that are running around in the street nowadays. So people say, where are all these demons? Why is there so much bad in the world? And we got to be in Satan's little season because there's so much crap going on. No, man, Satan was just out for a little season, just like Jesus was out for a little season. Jesus was only out for 3.5 years, 40 and 2 months, 1,260 days, just like it says in Daniel. After John the Baptist was beheaded, his season was only 3.5 years, which is 40 and 2 months. And then I can only imagine that Satan is given about the same little season when he is released, which is a season out of a year would be, there's 4 seasons, and if you divide 12 by 4, that's 3. So right there between 3.5 years, that's a season. So just understand that. Love you, Watchman. Thank you for your family. You know, Lindsay, thank you so much. I was talking to somebody about being the Watchman the other day, and I was like, you know, the Watchman doesn't run down as it blows the trumpet. He doesn't run down there and go, hey, man, what are you doing out here? You know, they don't, man. They identify a threat, or they identify that something that they're supposed to warn the people, but they don't walk up to it and identify. They don't leave their post. Then they dispatch people that go out there and question that thing or watch it more closely or put the archers on it or what have you. And then whenever it comes through or threatens, then the king sends a message to the watchman and says, tell my guys to go to the west wall, or tell my guys to go to this wall and protect that, and you tell me where the enemy's threatened. And all of this is done with musical notes of a trumpet. So they would, so John the Baptist was beheaded 3.5 years prior to Jesus' crucifixion. Sure was, Brittany, and you can go look, and they mention 3 Passovers after that Jesus went through. And it was a beautiful thing, 40 and 2 months, 3.5 years, 1,260 days. Those are all Daniel, and 7 years. It never says 7 years. It says 3.5 years twice. And actually, that would be 3.5 years, and that would be 3.5 years. And that basically, it doesn't say 7 years. It says 2 3.5 year periods. Hey, buddy, I'm Chris. I got a good friend named Chris. I just wanted to thank you for all the knowledge that I learned from you. I will assume that it says that. You know, my fingers are so big. From you. Thank you. It does say that. Thank you so much, man. I certainly appreciate that. User's big number. But I certainly appreciate that. And I try to explain things the way that I understand them best. So I make these charts and these maps. I put pictures with it. And then I put the scripture of the Bible so that you can read the same thing I'm reading. And a day is like 1,000 years is how I put this whole seal thing together here, where a day is like 1,000 years. And when you sort of start pulling, who could these people be? You know, it's pretty easy. The white horse with a crown on his head that comes out of heaven and all that stuff. Anytime you see white horse, crown, and all that stuff, that's my guy. And that's the first horse. He created creation right here. And he told Adam to go out and conquer what he could conquer and spread and take dominance over the earth. And that's exactly what he did. And 1,000 years later was the days of Jared. And that's when the Watchers descended right here. And the Watchers taught men how to have war and make swords. And he was the red horse of war. And he was given a great sword. And he was given power to take peace from the earth. The Watchers taught us how to have war. And then Abraham was born in 2000 BC. 1,000 years later would have been the third seal. And that was the black horse of the great famine of Egypt. And that right there is when Abraham, they had the scales, and a measure of wheat for barley is a penny, and a measure of this, they were overcharging, and it was a famine. So right there, they're weighing everything down because of the famine. Then this fifth seal right here, this is Jesus Christ, and he saw the white robes and them that had beheaded for the witness of Christ, and he went down and gave them white robes. That's all Jesus Christ. Whenever the saints were released in Matthew 27:52, and the rocks did rent, and the earth did quake, and the bodies of many saints which slept arose and got out of their graves and walked through the city streets of Jerusalem, and were seen by many right there. And the devil, this is Revelation chapter 20, and the angel descended, and he had a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on that dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and he bound him 1,000 years. And that's right there. It says it happened that he bound him 1,000 years. And it says, and I saw the souls of those that were beheaded for the witness of Christ. That's John the Baptist. And they got out of the grave and lived and reigned with Christ for 1,000 years. Right there. For there's the millennial reign. And he lived and reigned with Christ for 1,000. So when is the judgment? I was under the impression it was after the 1,000-year reign. No, they lived and reigned with Christ for 1,000 years when they got out of the ground in 33 AD during his resurrection, Matthew 27:52. And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. That was it. And those that are affected by the first resurrection are not affected by the second death, so that had nothing to do with them. And the second death, they still living and reigning with Christ. Jesus Christ never left. He didn't come back after 1,000 years. He's not gone anywhere. They lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. He's always here. Just know that. And this 1,000 years later, the biggest part that people don't get, they say Satan is released for a little season, and this must be the little season. No, the little season is 3.5 years, because Jesus led for 3.5 years after John was crucified, and he was released for a little season. Here's the kicker. But the rest of the dead yet live again after the 1,000 years is finished. This is the first resurrection. That's Revelation chapter 20, verse 5 or 6, right there. So the rest of the dead living again after the 1,000 years are thousands and thousands of zombies that got out of the grave and live again according with the book of Revelation. And that's what is bothering this world. And they have to be in the highest places of power. They have to have coordinated the books of the Bible. They have to went, ooh, man, that book of Enoch 1, man, kill that, dude. What are you talking about? You can't say that. Says Simon Lee Jazz or whatever his name is our leader. Bust us out, would come down on Mount Herman. They named it that. It's on the 33rd degree parallel. Somebody's going to tell them we put a UN base up there. I know somebody's going to tell them to put a UN base up there because we're supposed to go out and he's going to gather the nations. And of course, if you go to the 33rd parallel, walk over to Mount Herman, see where the line crosses, go on Google Earth, man, put it on latitude, longitude, show it on the screen. 33rd parallel is Mount Herman. Bam, right there. And then that's exactly, they walked east, the whole 33 rockets on Elon Musk motor. They're all Raptors. They're called the Dragons. But he's got to have 42 motors now to punch through the firmament, which he thinks, being 42 letters in the holy name of God. I did a tick on that. It was like 200,000 people hit it. And I was like going, why do you got to have 42 motors? Oh, yeah, that's the names of that's how many names there are in Kabbalah for God. So you're going to build 1,000 rockets a year, 3 a day in this Giga Bay, which looks like a big black cube, and you're going to build 1,000 rockets a year? Okay. All right, hot dog. Tweaking, man. Dude, tweaking. And listen, I'm not politically going to tell y'all one way or the other. I'm not going to forecast one way or the other. I love a lot of the things that just happened. I love some of the corrections and the way we sort of knocked the cart back on the path. But, buddy, I'll call a spade in a minute, man. And if you get out of the middle of my cart path and you vary off to the left or the right, I'll call you out in a minute, man, because you keep your eyes straight forward on God, the straightforwardness of God. Keep it right there in the middle. Do not go to the left or to the right. There's a scripture in a couple of places in the Bible says, do not go to the left or to the right. Y'all think we can hit 400K likes? I think we can hit 400K likes because I'll sit here and just talk for a little bit. But, yes, hey, I know they can. Arkansas GG, y'all push and push and push. And I certainly appreciate y'all helping me meet all of my goals and all of that stuff. It's just super cool. It really is just driving me to keep pushing more about, and I want y'all to find the same pearl I found. I want you to find that Jesus told those people, said, Moses gave you the law, man, and you still seek to kill me. That meant that Moses gave him the law that said, thou shalt not kill. And Moses didn't hand anybody a law that God said that, yeah, it's okay, you can kill these people. Why build 1,000 rockets a year when we can get them when they can't get out of the firmament? Bro, that's what they're forecasting, Mr. Morris. They are forecasting to build 3 rockets a day, 1,000 rockets a year, and head them to Mars by 2030. They want to have this thing in full production, and you can see that the UN has a big agenda for the 2030 agenda and what have you. They know, man, it's all going to hell in a handbasket right there, boy. And that's 2,000 years after Jesus Christ was resurrected right there, after he locked the devil away. It says it right there in the Bible. So y'all come into the room. I certainly appreciate it. Don't hang outside there. Go to my study guides and download them. I love when people follow along. If you missed this course, please go to my YouTube page on Friday morning. I will upload Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday's class when I did, and AJ will be chopping them up to do the audiobook versions. But we really have enjoyed our night times that we get to spend with people, and I'm going to level the times off starting going forward. So we're going to be 8 o'clock Eastern, p.m. Eastern, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We're going at 8 o'clock. I just want you to mark on your calendar, whether you're on the East Coast or West Coast or whatever, at 8 o'clock Eastern, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I'm going to burn this down for y'all those 3 nights a week. We go live during the day because I love my lunchtime crowd. I get to catch my guys over in England. What time is it in London right now? Tell me what time it is in London. 9:57 it's going to be. Ooh, it's early in the morning, ain't it? I think it is early over there. Tell me what time it is in London. Somebody's going 7 hours ahead of you. Oh, yeah, so that's 5 o'clock in the morning, man. Oh, you know what? There's like a couple of people, I guarantee you, I don't know if I'd want my little country boy accent blurting out in the middle of London at 5 o'clock in the morning. That'd be too much to suffer. But you know what my thing for y'all is when I do the 9 o'clock in the morning, the lunchtime show, I got y'all, man. Y'all are going to work and all that stuff, so, or coming home from work. I think that fits y'all so much better over there. Gigi, it's 2:58 a.m. What'd you say? That's only 4 or 5 hours away. It's 9 hours, 6:68. 9 hours ahead of me. Yeah, I don't know. Gigi, she knows that's my wife, man. She tells me it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Ooh, it's 3 o'clock in the morning? Boy, that's when the trumpet needs to be sounding for you guys over there. I was hoping somebody was going to say that, man. That's when, you know how hard it is to wake you up at 3 o'clock in the morning? People go, I got woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning. You know how hard it is to wake somebody up? You better get up and say, here I am. What do you want me to do, man? Dang. And get you a Bible and start reading it. Just read some verse out of it. Just literally get up and just ask God, what can I do for you? And already up. There you go. And 3 o'clock in the morning over there, 3 o'clock in the morning somewhere. I guarantee you that's when I heard the knock on the door. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. That's when all the things happened, man, during that shift, during that watch. That's when they saw him walking across the sea, the ocean, and a lot of very interesting things happened during that, like the third watch or something like that. We are on the timeline now. We are on the timeline now. We are right there, 2025. And, you know, right now around us, it says after the little season, after the 1,000 years, the rest of the dead yet live again. Where are we on the timeline now? Sorry. We are 2025. We're 8 years away from the seventh seal being broken. The rest of the dead yet live again after the 1,000 years. So in 1033, not only did Satan get released for a little season, that the rest of the dead yet live again. And that means that explains all the madness and knuckleheads. And when Jesus, when he was casting out demons and what have you, he'd walk up to like a crowd and said out of the 7,000 people that he wanted, he'd go, many had demons. That means more than half when you say many. So like more than half of those people were had demons in them. So there very well could be more than half of the people have demons in them now. And you ever seen that guy who walks around? That's real. That's the real one. A lot of people, this one guy on TikTok, he walks around and goes, do you believe in Jesus? Do you believe in Jesus? And the people are just like, no, never heard of him or whatever. And I'm just like, gosh. People are just brutes. Boy, I'm like going, y'all are going to trip out, man, whenever y'all find out what that day of tribulation, man. You're in that. Ooh, you're in that third book. No, you're in the, they're in the third book, man. They're going to burn up like a fire. But they're just like, do you believe in Jesus? No. Just cold busting them out. And then after about 50 people, they go, yeah. Well, yes, haven't seen one person say, yeah, I know, I watched that guy. I'm like going, and then finally he shows one at the end and it says, yeah. And they like stop and it's like, wow, I'm out of breath, man. I mean, it's a lot of people don't even know Jesus, man. And I'm like, boy, every knee's going to bow, man. All the tribes of earth are going to mourn. I see him. I seen him. I know. It is sad, man, that they're questioning people like that on the streets. That's in Winter Park, Florida. I know the street that he's walking down. He's in downtown Winter Park, Florida. I know the stores back and forth. I ought to go catch him. He'd come over and, do you believe in Jesus? I'm the trumpet. I don't. When I see the sword fall upon the land, I'll blow the trumpet and warn the people. Give me your microphone. I've got a radio voice. I'll get him. He goes, no, I'm not even going to interview you. So Revelations was taking place before the Bible was even written. Jesus said in the very first verse of Revelations that he was the first among the dead. And he was the first begotten among the dead. Yeah, man. Revelations is a story is written to the churches. And the more I start digging into the church being built upon this rock, and that Peter, his name is the Rock. So that man was a rock. They put his book in the last of the Bible, man. I mean, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, then everybody else but Peter. Then they put him in the back of the book. I'm just like going, there's something going on, man. With that upside down cross, he was not the first person, the first pope. He never went to Rome in the Bible. I don't believe one thing that the church ever says. The Bible emphatically does not say that he went to Rome. And nor does it ever tell a story about him being crucified upside down. An upside down cross is not okay. And for them to be doing this right here, they're literally doing an upside down cross, man. They're doing that and that right there. That's an upside down cross. So I don't know. It says their logo, their Vatican logo is a dragon. Where do you think Peter is really buried? I don't know. I have no idea where Peter's really buried, and I don't think they do either. Y'all seen on here where they moved David's tomb, put the tomb of, oh my gosh, they put the tomb of Jupiter, something, Venus or something like that there, and now it's the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Just know that that's all in the same place. And I truthfully believe, and I don't believe, inside the Vatican, underneath there where the tomb of St. Peter, there's a thing called the Red Wall. And the Church of Pergamum, one of the first churches in the book of Revelation, it was built out of red brick, sort of like the Tower of Babel. And it's missing the big facade, the big red wall. And it's underneath the Vatican. They brought a big piece of the red wall of the Church of Pergamum because it was right there by Istanbul, where Pergamum was. And that's where Constantine went. He built the Vatican. So he comes back over, tears the face wall off of the Church of Pergamum, throws it over into the Vatican, and builds the red wall into the ground. And then there is the tomb of Satan right there. Do you think John's still alive? Definitely think John's still alive, man. John, what's the last word of it? I love it, man. When Jesus is talking to him, he's like, oh, what you got to do? What you think? Oh, I got this picture right behind me. I'll show it to you. You see that? Touch it. Right there, I'm going to go show you that picture right there. I made that picture. Read that book of John. I think he's still on the planet right here. That's him, got his head on Jesus' chest right there. John 19. John 19:19, and Pilate wrote a title and put it on the cross, and the writing was Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. This title that read many of the Jews, and the place where Jesus was crucified was nigh to the road, and it was written in Hebrew, Greek, and Latin. That happened. Ooh, I love reading this piece right here, man. What? Oh, get the picture. And I went to art school, and if you read the verses, John had his head on the chest, on the breast of Jesus. And so I had to cut, you see all the cut and paste marks I did? I cut it, pasted it together. I fixed it. It was wrong. I'm a first-time Bible reader, just reaching Kings 1, can't put it down. You know what you ought to read about Kings 1, Weavy, is that the people asked for a king, and Samuel went, God, people are asking for a king. And goes, you go tell them, Samuel, the seer, you little witch doctor, you go tell them that because your sons are being judges right now and being terrible to the people and doing all kinds of stuff to the women before they even enter the temple and what have you, whatever. But if they want a king, the king is going to take their children. He's going to enslave them. He's going to take their lands. He's going to tax them. He's going to be mean to them. And they went, man, we want a king. And he goes, all right. And Samuel said, God, they still want a king. And he goes, don't feel bad, Samuel. He goes, they didn't reject you. They rejected me. So just know that as you start to read that First Kings, those are the kings that God warned them, you ask for it. You ask for this. And ironically, look how long they all led. 40 years led King Saul, 40 years led David, and 40 years led Solomon. Those are all times of testament. 40 years they wandered in the desert. That's a time of testament, man. You imagine walking in the sand for 40 years? Walking in the sand like you're carrying a cooler to the beach or something like that? Oh my gosh, you want to clean your soul up. That'll get the demons out of you. You'll make up 17 new cuss words, but you'll be out of cussing. Done with it by the time you get out of the desert. Here we go. I'm all out of cuss words, man. I ain't got nothing to do with it, bro. I don't even know what to say. Let's read this. Read this. And then went this saying, Peter gets pissed off. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to say that. You know, I used to be a roofer. It's hard for me to talk correctly, and I appreciate y'all understanding that I used to be a roofer, and I'm not perfect. Peter, I believe, is this dude going, what's this dude doing right here? What's he going to do? Peter, seeing him, saith to Jesus, Lord, and what shall this man do? And Jesus saith unto him, if I will that he tarry till I come, what is that to thee? Follow thou me. Then went this saying abroad among the brethren, that the disciples should not die. And yes, Jesus said not unto him, he should not die, but if I will that he tarry till I come, what is that to thee? This is the disciple which testifieth of these things, and wrote these things, and we know that his testimony is true. I'm going to tell you something. Jesus said, what if I want this guy to live until then? And just so happens that he was boiled in oil. My mouth is the main thing that I have. That's why I know. I tell you what, I was a roofer, and my dad owned the roofing company, and this is in Savannah, Georgia, and most of the people that worked for him were convicts, and they were not the same color as me, and I was a little white guy in the middle of them, and they called me Spot. And they taught me at about 12 years old how to cuss at a professional level, and I was just raised by convicts, man. One dude in the middle of that thing, his name was Preacher. That's what they called him. He came from South Carolina, and I'll never forget it, boy. Preacher, he used to leave his religion and the preaching thing, all that, into Savannah Bridge. As soon as he come over into Georgia, he'd turn around and go, boy, don't you make me lose my Jesus on you. And I was like, oh my gosh, man, Preacher's going to lose his Jesus on me. And he would, boy. He used to cuss me up and down. He'd cuss me up and down. Preacher, he had like 3 teeth. I love to. I slip too. Whatever. It is, buddy. I mean to tell you. But it does say that in the Bible that I went in unto those without the law so that I could gain those without the law. So just know that if you walk into the Corinthians, or let's use modern terms, if you walk into a biker bar and you walk in there and go, I'd like to tell you about the Lord, you're probably going to get beat up. But if you walk into the Corinthians and you daggum and you start throwing a couple of things around, hopefully not any human beings or anything like that, and you start talking with those people and they see that you're sort of out of the same kind of cut, that's where you can use that scripture. I went into those without the law so that I could gain those without the law. Know that. My dad told me that, man. He was like going, you know, I goes, you just remember, man, you gotta go into those without the law so that you can gain them. And you gotta sometimes, man, you gotta be a little abrasive. You know, I've had people, you know, I'm sitting there talking and all of a sudden I'll slip up and say something wrong and they're like, well, you're real. And I'm like going, yeah, I'm real, man. I'm one of those people that are going to go, when it says all the tribes of the earth will mourn, that's because everybody knows what they've done in their life. The reason that I'm going to mourn them, oh my gosh, bro's going to find out. He's not going to find out. Bro's going to, he's going to open that book and he knows. But that's why all the meet people tapping the screen. Meet people double tap. Does it work when I tap it? I don't know. It's just like going crazy over here. Oh, it's 10:12. See, all I did was start talking, and it's like 15 minutes later. And it's so easy to do that. Y'all ask the best questions and all that stuff, man. Give me another one. I'll read it right off of Scripture. I want y'all to know that I'm not reading to y'all from something that a sheep farmer found. This is the Dead Sea Scrolls, man. They've been verified. Can you explain 2033 and the 730 and the 7 seals? I sure will. I love that. And let's do the 7 seals. A day is like 1,000 years. Okay? Keep that in mind. Christ Revelation 19, the white horse that ascends out of heaven, and the rider had many crowns upon his head. Anytime you see a white horse with a guy with a crown on his head, that's God, that's Jesus, that's creation, that's the start of things. Right there, the first horse is white horse, and he was given a crown, and he was given a bow. Doesn't say he was given a bow and arrow. He was given a bow, and man was given a bow as a sign of the covenant from God that I would never flood the earth again. So a rider on a white horse gave man a bow, and he said, go out, conquer what you could conquer. He told Adam to go out and take dominion over the earth and conquer what you could conquer. 1,000 years later, 3000 BC, that's exactly when the days of Jared. 3000 BC is exactly when Enoch was taken up into heaven. It's the end of his life right there, or when he was last recorded. The second seal is the red horse of war, and unto him was given a great sword and the power to take peace from the earth. That's when the fallen angels descended onto the earth 1,000 years later, the second seal, and they taught men how to make swords and fight wars. Abraham, 1,000 years later, he's the black horse. Remember that he's the one that chased off the crows 70-something times so they wouldn't eat the seeds, because there was a great famine in 2000 BC. Look it all up. And then he was born in 2000 BC. So the third horse is the black horse, and that is the famine in Egypt, when they would weigh the barley for a penny and weigh the measure of this and hurt not the oil. The fourth is the pale horse of death. David's hands were so bloody he couldn't build the temple. His Solomon built it with him, and hell followed with him. That same place that they built right there, that's the same place that Jesus Christ said, tear this down. That was 1,000 years later. 1,000 years into, that was 1,000 BC. 1,000 years later is the fifth seal, when Jesus Christ was born. White robes, that's right there, not when he was born. The 33 AD, that's the fifth seal, and that's when they were given the white robes under the altar. He was born in 0 BC, and that was before Christ. And then AD means in the year of our Lord. So in 33 AD, in the year of our Lord, Anno Dominus is what that AD means, that Jesus descended with a great chain in his hand, and he locked the devil away for 1,000 years. And after the 1,000 years are finished, he must be released from his prison for a little season, right there. A little season, 1,000 years later. And the rest of the dead yet live again. This is the first resurrection. I literally just read Revelation chapter 20, verse 4, 5, and 6. So if he's released for a little season right there, which is 3.5 years, understand that Jesus was only on the earth 3.5 years after they crucified John the Baptist. So for the same as Daniel says, 3.5 years, 40 and 2 months, 1,260 days. These are all the 3.5 year periods. There he was released for a little season. Why people say there's so much evil in the world is because during this whole time, the rest of the dead yet live again. That's all the knuckleheads that got out of the grave. Remember, the saints got out of the grave and lived and reigned with him for 1,000 years. That's the millennial reign right there. When the saints got out of the grave in Matthew 27, verse 52, and they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. This is the first resurrection. Understand that. That happened right there. And he saw the souls of those who were beheaded for the witness of Jesus. That's John the Baptist. He pulled his boy right out of the grave, man. And John the Baptist was the beheaded witness of Christ. So just know that while there's so much evil in the world, and we're right here 8 years away, that we're almost 2,000 years away from the time when Jesus locked the devil away for 2,000 years. Know that. So it's 40 Jubilee periods, which is a perfect number because 40 is a time of test. So 40 Jubilee periods is when Satan gets released, not when Jesus is coming back. No man knows that day or the time. But that's when the seventh seal silence in heaven for about an hour. Then the second death is ended. Satan is released from his prison. And the very first thing that happens after the seventh seal, silence in heaven for about half an hour, then the angels are given 7 trumpets. The first angel blows the trumpet, and that's when the hail and the fire and a third of the grass is burned up. The second trumpet, just as bad, and it goes downhill from there. Then the vials of death. So it is the seals, then the trumpets, then the vials. They come in that order. And I had some stuff. So just know how we're going with this. It's the seals. A day is like 1,000 years. We bust these. And I hope, what do you know about Isaac Newton's Bible study of the secret message of the circuit? Nothing. I think there's a lot of things thrown in there. So when is the rapture? The rapture is going to be after they do all the vials and bowls and what have you. Somewhere after this, we're caught up and judged by the books. And it says after the devil and all that stuff, and it says every tribe of the earth will mourn. And then there's a lot of fire and destruction. But I would assume that it says in Matthew 24, it says, immediately after the tribulations of those days shall the sun be darkened, and they shall see the sign of the Son of Man coming in the sky. And all of the tribes of earth will mourn. So it says, after the tribulations of those days, all of the tribes of earth will mourn. It's Matthew 24, whatever, somewhere in there. So after the tribulation of those days, and that isn't like John speaking, and that's not Matthew speaking. That's literally Jesus's words. Those are in red. So Jesus Christ, God, said, after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon will not give its light, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the sky. And just know that that's after the tribulation. So this is tribulation. And then after the seventh seal, that's when the fire starts burning a third. Is this after the rapture? Let's just know that 2033 is when the seventh seal breaks. They hand out 7 trumpets, and that's when the grass starts getting burned up and the water starts getting poisoned, and all of these things start falling apart. So that's going to be the tribulation when they start blowing the 7 trumpets after the 7th seal. The 7th seal is silence in heaven for about a half an hour, and then they're given 7 trumpets, and then when the first angel blows the trumpet, man, I mean, the wheels just literally catch on fire and start burning. So that's exactly what it is. But remember, the white horse in the beginning, he was given a bow. That's the bow of covenant, a rainbow from God. He was given the bow, the white horse with many crowns. That's Jesus, that's God, that's creation, that's the beginning. The watchers right there, man, they're the bad guys. They're the guys that came and descended in 3000 BC, which is the days of Jared. 1,000 years later, they broke the second seal, and that's the red horse of war where they taught men how to make swords. The third seal is real easy. It's 2000 BC. Abraham was born in 2000 BC. That's the black horse of the famine of Egypt right there when they weighed and measured the barley for a penny and hurt not the oil. That was what Abraham is, the black horse, because he chased off the crows 70 times to keep them from eating the seeds off of the ground. And then, let me see, the rapture could happen today. I guarantee you it could happen. You don't know the day or the time. This is a roundabout. When all of these things happened, he wasn't burned dead on that day, and they weren't born dead on that day. And if I had to guess, they would set us up with a fake jubilee. So just know that the Pope, about 16 years ago, said it's the Jubilee year, and then this year is the Jubilee year. And I'm sitting there going, okay, the Jubilee year is the 49th. On the 49th, at the end of the 49th year, you shall sound the trumpets and hallow the 50th year. Okay, so that's a great increment to multiply. 40 is the time of test. So 40 50-year periods is 2,000 years. And if Jesus Christ was crucified in 33 and he locked the devil away for 2,000 years, that's 40 Jubilee periods later is 2033 when the devil is released from the prison. That's when the hail and the fire and a third of the grass is burned up 2,000 years later, just like it says. So is time not man-made? Time, you know, I watched that movie, Lucy, and they said, you ever see a car going by, and once it goes by so fast that you can't see it? That time is what gives it existence. And that just sort of made my brain hurt for a minute to think that that car could get zooming by, and the fact that we can't see how fast it's going is that we can't see that time. And I think that we probably can't see sometimes. And I guarantee you, my dog barks at things like that, and I know Jesus Christ walked into my house, and my dog barked at Jesus Christ when he walked into my door at 3 o'clock in the morning. So Arlo, I know he barks at things, and I think there's some things he barks at. And I know the rest of the dead yet live again, and they were released out of the grave, and 1,000 years after Jesus Christ went into resurrection right there. So the rest of the dead yet live again in 1033 AD. It's not the little season of the devil because there's so much bad in the world. He was only there for 3.5 years, released for this little season, but the rest of the dead yet live again right there. And we're only, in this period right here. So I can imagine over the last 1,000 years that the rest of the dead that got to live again, they inhabited all of the houses of the churches and in the governments and in all of the things, and they would be in the minutia of how all of this works. So after the Spirit is given, you shall know. Has anyone ever tried to watch live on the app of your smart TV? Can't get TikTok. Live on TV app. I don't know. I've never tried to watch. Why can't you get TikTok live on that? Oh, that's crazy. I don't know. I know that whole TikTok studio is a little crazy. It's hard for me to understand. I'm talking to my phone now, but AJ understands. It's a big board and all that stuff, so I don't get it. Moderated GG8 Pack, she pinned a comment. Mr. Morris, not on YouTube tonight. Yeah, we're going to put it on. Jonathan's going to upload Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays episodes on Friday morning. And then he's going to send out my newsletter on Friday morning so that we can all prepare for the Sabbath and all that stuff. And so that's how I'm going to keep in touch with y'all. And I'm going to update y'all. We're going to go live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. How long have you been studying the Bible? For about 8 or 9 years. But literally about a month ago, man, I started finding out, people going, they would grab this big Bible and they go, this is the Word of God. I'm like going, actually, it's not, man, because the Word of God is the 10 Commandments and the book of Jubilees. It says it right there in the first chapter that was written by God. And, because in the book of Leviticus, it tells you 30 different ways that you're allowed to put somebody to death if they break the rules. And, Lindsay, one thing that I realized is that Jesus said, Moses gave you the law, yet you still seek to kill me. And that's because Moses gave them the law, the 10 Commandments from God that said, thou shalt not kill at the end of the second book, Exodus. Beginning is Genesis, Exodus is the end. And then the Levites, the Leviticus book, turns around and says, there's 30 things that you can do and we can kill you. That's man's law. And it's useful for teaching and rebuking, but just know that God wrote with a finger, do not kill. Jesus referenced those and said, Moses gave you the law, yet you still seek to kill me. And then we made up all kinds of laws. I was talking with a lawyer today. I was like going, y'all are supposed to be knew the Bible. And I just screen mirrored in my TV and you're on the big screen. No! Right! All right, man. Purpose, bread, motors, mentors. I love it. I read things wrong. I'm so sorry. I think, what is it, that beer run? I thought his name was Barabbas. Dude's name was Beer Run Bus. The 7 chakras. I don't know about that. The 7 churches, the 7 angels, calls them the Malachim in the book of Jubilees tomorrow night. It'll say the 7 Malachim. Do you read the Apocrypha? Are they real books? Yes, ma'am, Shauna. I can tell you right now that the Apocrypha, the Dead Sea Scrolls, were verified by all of the scientists and archaeologists of anybody of any country. They all found them after World War II, and everybody sent their little Indiana Jones guy over there to say, go find out where they buried the Ark of the Covenant, go find that stuff. That's why all those movies are geared after the Second World War. And that's when they found the Dead Sea Scrolls, and everybody sent somebody over there. All they found was a bunch of old scrolls that went like, oh, wow, we found Genesis. Yeah, wow. And we found Exodus. And then they also found Jubilees and Enoch 1. And I want you to know, Shauna, that when they found Jubilees and Enoch 1 and Genesis and Exodus, they found them in almost the same quantities, i.e., there were 15 copies of Genesis, 16 copies of Jubilees, 13 copies of Exodus, and 12 copies of Enoch 1. So they were all the top four found books approved and verified by archaeologists from all over the world are Genesis, Exodus, Jubilees, and Enoch 1. Enoch 1's only like 35 pages. Enoch 2 through 5, garbage. As soon as it starts talking about Noah and his eyes, blue eyes glowing and his hair catches on fire, whatever, you just know you're reading garbage. But just know that any of the Enoch 1 or the Book of Jubilees, the Book of Jubilees is it's called the Lesser Genesis because it reads just like Genesis, and it reads just like Genesis and half of Exodus, but it's so much more detailed that it's not even funny. Our team is awesome. We broke 500,000, man. Our team is awesome. Y'all are awesome. Y'all are amazing, and y'all make me want to do this just over and over. I can't even thank you enough for all the gifts and all the things that y'all do. Tomorrow's going to be a great night. Please join us. We're going to do it at 8 o'clock Eastern, and then I'm going to give away a great Bible, and then we're going to get some more people registered and into my subscribers, and then Friday on the Sabbath, we're going to send out these and this chart and another little mailer. I can't wait to get that out. And that'll be for all the people that are the subscribers on my link tree and all. Thank you so much, Gigi. Thank you so much. I'm getting ready to come in there, and I'm going to get a little bite to eat, and then I'm going to go to sleep. I love y'all so much, and thank y'all for letting me bother y'all for 2.5 hours. If there was any quick questions or anything that I missed, I'm so sorry. And, I appreciate the people that have asked for questions. I see my prayer warriors in here, and y'all are my team. You know who you are, my subscribers, man. Y'all get on people, and you help, and you say, hey, man, and y'all tell them my opinions, and I just can't thank you enough for helping me. Y'all want to say my favorite prayer with me, and I'm not no big grace prayer guy. I always stutter through these things. So I have to sort of say what I say every morning, and I want to say this one with you. And I say this every morning. Dear Jesus, fill us so much full of you that there's no room for anything else. Please, Jesus, let us see this world through your eyes, and please let us love this world with your heart, and please let us hear this world with your ears. Jesus, let us touch this world and hug this world so that we transfer the love of Jesus Christ from us into them so that they love you too. And in Jesus' name I pray, amen. So that's what I pray every morning. I get on my knees in the shower and I pray for all of y'all. And I pray that we're found working in him, because blessed and holy is the servant that is found working in him, giving meat in due season. That's what you want to be caught dead doing. You want to be caught dead working with him. And you don't want to be dead. You want to be caught alive working in him. We don't want to be, hey, I'm going to be caught up. I'm going to be this. Man, you want to be found working in him. So these are a bunch of cool topics. There's no way the guy was reading 1 Kings. There's no way you can't walk into work and go, you ought to read this, man, about this story. Let me tell you about it. And I've got so many study guides. There's no excuse why we all can't be just telling some cool story that you just learned out of the Bible, because I'm learning some cool stuff. You can even be telling about how Elon's rocket motors are now going to be 42 and how there's 42 names of God, and that's the only way he thinks he's going to punch the firmament. And he's not, man. That whole thing, it says all of that, man. It says, I will ascend into the heavens. I will raise my throne above all that is God. And he maketh fire come down in the sight of men, man. I've never seen anybody catch a rocket before. But these are all just things that I see and things that I tell y'all. Correction, 72 names. It's 72 names, and then they say there's 72 letters, which I guess is the first names of them. And did I do everything okay, AJ? Yeah. I think we're 2.5 hours in. He's got a lot of editing to do because I actually talked for 12 minutes in the middle of that, and then he's just going to say, you kill me, because I had to listen to you run your mouth again for 2.5 hours. But it'll take you 1.5 hours to download that, won't it?
Yeah.
It's really going to take an hour and a half for him to stare at the computer. So you might as well listen to it. You are a blessing. Y'all are a blessing. Y'all asked me questions, and y'all started this. And y'all are the trumpet. Y'all asked me questions, and the only way I'm going to answer you is with the Bible or with a verse. So if you say something to me and you say, hey, man, I heard that the sky is going to fall and the chickens are coming out, what verse is that? It's the first thing going to come out of my mouth. They literally nuked the firmament, and it didn't work. I bet they've been punching on it, boy, sending rockets and all that stuff. And it says that he divided the waters that were above the firmament from the waters that were below the firmament. So if you ever look at the stars through a big telescope, which I have one, it looks like you're shining a flashlight at the bottom of a pool. It looks just like that. I don't doubt for a second that the stars are not the angels and the firmament is made of water. And whoever thinks that they went to the moon, it was not anybody named NASA. Those dudes, man. That dude, that thing didn't go to the moon. I've been and seen it. There's no way that piece of crap made it to the moon. No way. Never happened. There's no way that, man, in the 1960s, dude, they're taking off from the moon. They left the cameraman on the moon. So stupid. They're blasting off, and Billy's on the moon. You know, I mean, how'd he send the film? What happened to Billy? Billy the cameraman, he's still up on the moon. He's probably got that look on his face like, dude, can't stand it. Yeah. I don't know about all that spinning around thing either, man. You know, it make a sundial go cray-cray. I know. That's why those Georgia Guidestones, they had a hole. And they're like, you can look through this hole at a time. Well, we're spinning around 12,000 miles an hour. Well, damn, that hole's still staring straight at that star. I know. I'm in trouble. They're telling me, shut it down, clown. I love y'all. We'll see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern. We're going to do the Book of Jubilees, chapter, I believe it's 20. And I love y'all. Y'all have a blessed day.